arena.
So.
It's a very dark arena, right? You can see even the players' lights on the desks, but the light and the most shining thing is this MSI ticket, the LCK #1 seed. That is what we're fighting for and playing.
Sehr coole Scenery.
All 10 players reaching desperately for as we jump into this draft here for game #1.
How do they make it float?
Magnets.
Magic.
Magnets, bitch.
Oh, sorry.
Magnets just magic?
Yes.
Effectively.
Baus raus, Oriana raus. Was passiert mit Anivia?
Nautilus ban here right away for its delight.
Was passiert mit Anivia?
And Nautilus a little bit stronger on this patch. The Bard, of course, will be banned away from T1. That was the one thing that
Jon weg.
I really agree with on the mock draft that we had.
Okay, aber das bedeutet nicht, dass Azir High Prior ist, right?
Series, but I don't think Carrier gets his hands on it.
Right.
In the first game, but in this series, I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, some conversations I've had, even though the meta hasn't completely shifted because the melee support changes, not enough to really upheave things. It has pushed Nautilus higher.
Zekayon, ja, aber also im Normalfall Azir, aber eine Menge offen, weil Jarvan, Lush Milio, ist 11er Patch außerdem.
Rumble and Karma, two of the big picks that are open available. T1, we knew they wanted to prioritize.
So, Zeus Rumble.
They will instantly slam down that Karma.
Bin ich jetzt nicht mal so geil, glaube ich.
I feel like for HLE, there's a danger playing into Ezreal Karma. If you leave the Ezreal available,
was?
They're going to prioritize the Jace though for Zeus.
Aber er spielt doch Yorick.
Towards the Ezreal. Jace Rise come in.
Anivia kommt auch, by the way. Hallo?
And T1 have plenty of choice in terms of AD carry pairings with this Karma.
Okay.
I'm most curious to see also, I mean, they could just go for Karma Ezreal, the really common one, which I think they're going to do. But will they just give Doran the keys to the Yorick counter pick in the top lane right away? Or do you want to prioritize jungle here and we'll have a bit of a split? Because this is quite common when one team goes for the bottom duo, the other team locks up strong blind solo lane. So that's the split that we do have here now. The question is, does a counter pick come through here? Or with all these jungle picks open, the Jarvan, the Xin.
Also die Sache ist, was bannst du dann in 4-5 als Hanwha? Anivia und Yorick? Oder bannst du dann Yorick und Cassante? Das ist doch alles... Okay. Schauen wir mal. Weil da spielt ja immer noch Olaf. Ne, du musst Olaf bannen. Du musst Olaf und Yorick bannen. Ich glaube, Yorick juckt sie nicht. Das ist crazy. Sie packen... Okay. Aber... Hä? Wo ist jetzt die Ashe für Hanwha? Hä?
Do they just take a jungle in this situation? You can't pair up your bot lane, so it can be tricky, but instead looking towards the Ziggs for Gumayushi here.
Wow. I mean, just last year, this was a pick that we weren't ready to trust Guma to be able to...
Also ich finde Ziggs an sich gegen LCK mal decent. Aber... Damage gegen Sion jetzt schon? Looking?
I like the choice. I like the boldness of it. There's so much poke, but also consistent damage with the Rise pick in mid.
Die Sache ist, die sind so high range, ich würde jetzt sogar behaupten, du kannst Anivia bannen, du musst aber nicht zwingend. Weil die sind so unglaublich high range. Ich glaube, ja genau, ich glaube nämlich, dass du es nicht machen musst.
It is going to be a lane, though, where you are going to get pushed in heavily. Ziggs needs mana items and some points in his queue.
So ein Bruder bei Rise nicht Bronze 5 Kali deswegen.
Especially level 1 from Ezreal Karma. And for T1, secure and engage is such a big thing here. So the Nocturne going to be banned away.
Speaking of, da kommt die Pint-Nachricht.
Oh,
Ezreal ist schon ziemlich horrible. Also gegen Ezreal Karma ist schon ziemlich horrible, würde ich sagen. Die Sache ist, Wukong ist auch relativ horrible. Ich befürchte fast, dass sie Richtung Pantheon schauen.
Base already went heavily on the Kanavi's vibe, but the Owner Nocturne was also mentioned. So those are the two big ones, but now we could see some indexing into support for T1 in this final ban as the Lee Sin for Owner will also be taken away. Not necessarily a consistent...
Es wird ein Sion Mitte, aber Sion Mitte ist so geil gegen Rise?
Against this range, so could be a great answer there. Yo, Pike, you mentioned...
Und Sion plus Yorick top oder... Olaf top? Maybe.
We'll see what they do decide to opt in for taking away from Carrier. Banning against Carrier is always tough, because he's always got something else.
Jetzt ist Pantheon ist jetzt relativ weit oben in der Priorliste.
They just fully commit to the jungle bans in this situation. And
Last Pick Jungle jetzt.
snap something up here if
Nee.
he wants. He's gonna go for that
Oh,
jungle, even though it's
okay.
into the Ezreal.
And also there's the Trundle angle
Reasonable. I mean, auf Mitte, du kannst nicht wirklich LeBlanc gehen.
they have in terms of engagement.
Azir,
Ion.
auch nicht wirklich. Eigentlich bräuchten die irgendwas mit Range, weil, also Team One wird gerade schon ziemlich hart outranged gerade.
To the Ezreal doesn't feel
Anivia auf, ja, aber ich glaube wirklich, Anivia ist nicht das größte Problem. Oh, Camille Support gemeint. Ich glaube wirklich, mit Jace plus 6 ist Anivia nicht mal so gefährlich. Sehr stark, aber nicht so gefährlich.
Tricky to do this, but level 1 with Ignite, you can actually challenge. If you land the stun, you ignite, use Hail of Blades, you can challenge some matchups, but I don't think they'll probably look for it.
So, die Sache ist, die brauchen jetzt irgendeinen Gangbanger auf Jungle. Sonst haben wir ein Problem. Jace Jungle, bitte kein Jace Jungle. Ich hasse Jace Jungle über alles. Ja, also Anivia, das war relativ klar, aber ich finde es okay gegen Ziggs und Jace. Also Ziggs, Jace, range-technisch, ich finde es okay.
But it is a very hard draft to play Anivia, so Faker a lot of confidence.
Agreed, yeah.
To come through, and we'll see what owner's pick is here. Ultimately, might just end up being the Xin. Take the Jarvan.
Yeah.
This has been a weaker pick for him compared to Kanavi, especially. He's actually
Geht Kanavi jetzt in Sau, ist die Frage. Pantheon finde ich hier nicht sehr gut für ihn.
compared to other junglers.
I think the engage
Der Bergtroll.
here, securing
I mean, ich finde den Draft, by the way, okay, ganz kurz, ich finde den Draft, es sieht ein bisschen goofy aus,
very good at playing.
aber ich finde den HLE-Draft nicht komplett schlecht.
And the Jace, and the enemy team has that long range.
Ernsthaft, ich finde den nicht schlecht. Mein Problem ist, Botlane, Early Lane,
Good amount of value
schwierig.
playing into that side.
Schwierig.
In particular, I feel like for T1, a lot of power in that bot.
Ich finde, das ist sehr machbar, dieser
They're
Draft.
gonna play through bot. They've been doing
Also
that.
ich finde diesen Draft wirklich sehr, 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 sehr machbar.
So, but when it gets to those team fights, they have
Mal sehen.
they have the top jungle who can find engage options, but they have a lot of poke to be dealing with on the other side, and the Trundle can make things really difficult for a Scion to operate in those 5v5.
Mal
I
sehen.
like the draft of T1 a little bit more because I think it offers
Plus der Channel fixt halt auch das Problem gegen den Scion später, richtig? Also,
in terms of its zoning because it also has decent amount of range, right? It has the Ezreal
ich glaube, wenn die individuell gut spielen,
into the Trundle. The Trundle
wenn die individuell gut spielen, dann ist es sehr, sehr, sehr winnable.
right with the pillar, but when the Trundle gets caught, he doesn't have any more.
Anivia OP wird auch hart outranged hier im Game.
He's just a sitting duck a lot.
Erneut 6 Jace regelt es.
That poke before the fight breaks out. Otherwise,
Wichtig ist, nicht Level 3 auf Toplane
I
sterben.
think it's also going to be so important that Jace is really far ahead because
Ja.
if Jace falls behind, we've seen
Er darf nicht Level 3 sterben an einem Gank.
in general, if this Scion gets strong, he can just stand there and soak all of the poke up. You need the Jace to be ahead of the curve and to be relevant in this game, or it is just going to be T1s to take.
Well, I feel like in terms of drafts so far, it's pretty straightforward here in game number 1 as we head into our first one for this best of 5.
Abfahrt.
하나 생명 하나 둘셋 T1 하나 둘셋
Schautschein, 25 Stück.
Alrighty, game number 1. This best of 5 determines our first seed into MSI here at the road to MSI.
Ja, Anivia gegen Rice, Heavy Trading, Level 3, dritte Wave entscheidet sehr viel da.
Oftentimes does on the Anivia. Has been a
Haben einen Ward auf Topside.
especially towards the tail end of, well, I guess for all of round 2, I suppose. He has been fantastic on this pick, and I do like it as a comfort pick, especially into the Rise early on for Faker.
You see Zeka getting down a ward onto owners.
Getting down and dirty in Midlane, finde ich nice.
The potential early gank that can come through. Seen some of those
Könnte Level 2 Eggproc bekommen.
running towards mid, especially with an Anivia in combo, very easy to set that up. Some good dodges there.
Verlierer ganz raus, nein, Verlierer spielt am Sonntag.
Faker often uses
Ja, gibt
his
Level 2 Egg Proc.
We talk about this a lot. We call it the Faker egg. In the laning phase here, will just
Wow, der Buff vom E verschwindet.
huge cheer comes through though because
Interesting.
Zeka ends up getting a majority of his health bar in post.
Yeah, he's getting pretty low. I mean, Zeka, at the
Ja.
end of the day, though,
Dritte Wave 4, das bedeutet, Zeka bekommt den Base.
that's really what
Also sieht sehr danach aus zumindest.
Flash.
Kanavi Level 3 Bot, du über den Ward gespottet, passt.
Faker's gonna have to be careful about that.
Faker
But
does
we
have
do
teleport, and okay,
a
I was here.
gank down on the bottom side as there is Peas with the arcane shift away, but now the flash forward with the satchel.
Wow.
Peas has to flash out, and he lives. Even
Also,
though Navi tried
dass
to
es
flash
so-
him for the kill, it is not enough.
Dass es so ausgeht, finde ich komisch. Dass er da, also dass er 1 HP ist und beide Sums verliert noch. Ist fucking komisch, oder nicht? Ja, da ist er Pushout. Auf Mitte. Classic. Ja, Six ist geflasht, W, ja.
Just enough to get him out of range, to get him to safety. 2 flashes burned by HLE.
Aber nimmt natürlich sehr viel Pressure aus Botten raus. Also der Level 3 Gang ist gut. Ich habe den Level 3 Gang von Jarvan erwartet. Den jetzt zu bekommen von Trundle finde ich nice.
But the damage is still done. Obviously, the Ziggs is going to be able to teleport straight.
Ja, RTP zurück. Lane ist fein. Jetzt müssen sie nur aufpassen. Also das ist natürlich der Jaime, auf dem Jarvan jetzt Botlane ist. Das müssen sie wissen.
Still mission successful, but had they gotten the kill, it would have felt so much stronger. Even though they committed double flash, I think this is something that HLE will not feel too bad about. Faker also recovers from.
Wir verlieren die Lane, aber naja, gegankt halt, ne? Oh, fuck's sake.
Early game is even. Here we have Owner rotating.
Er ist tot.
Yeah, we're roaming down.
Guck mal, Josef ist tot.
In a rough spot as the satchel's already down. He is just a sitting duck. As
Okay, aber,
not
I
able
mean,
to interrupt Owner getting in there. This should
er delayt einmal seinen Base, right? Aber das, also,
they hand it over to Paige
also,
as he starts off strong on the Ezreal.
also, muss man auch wissen, ne?
To get Paze back into the game, capitalizing on the fact that Guma burned his flash.
Muss man auch wissen.
Get to shove this wave in, maybe even get a plate on the back of it as well, and it is Paze who picked up that kill, importantly enough.
Yeah, really huge moment here for T1, pushing them into a 400 gold lead off of the first blood alone. As Faker is just going to be slightly annoyed here by Kanavi. So nothing really in return. Delight tried his best to try to.
Botlane wird wieder bad sein, die bauen es wieder zurück.
With his little hook shot there, tries to prevent the follow-up, but is just ultimately not able to do anything. And with Satchel down, there's an easy gank for Owner on that Xin. Or excuse me, Jarvan.
Yeah, I think just
Also ich habe Toplane by the way noch nicht gesehen, dass er von einem Skill oder Auto-Attack getroffen wurde. Der Typ
out unless T1
lock the fuck in.
misplayed it. So early ganks coming into the bot lane already from both sides, which isn't too unexpected in this situation. Zek has been doing pretty good in this mid lane matchup. We saw him getting those heavy trades earlier, but going to be able to pick up a plate here as well.
Super.
And the top side, Zeus has that early pressure into the matchup against Sion, but Darn's doing pretty fine, all things considered.
Also der Lockdown auf den HLE ist natürlich sehr problematisch. Also der ist halt nicht vorhanden quasi. Dementsprechend, wenn der, also Camelo-Ulti potenziell. Wenn der Freund HLE hätte, haben wir ein Problem.
The Anivia damage isn't really that much, so as long as you're not being camped by the jungle, you actually have, you know, good pushing power, especially before the Anivia is level 6. And
Frage ist, wo geht die erste Rise-Ulti hin?
I feel like thriving
Toplane sieht nicht unrealistisch aus, also wenn er den weiter so gechunkt hält.
against Anivia. Obviously, the Anivia, once she gets going, gets a couple of items, maybe 3 in the team fights, can be extremely annoying, and that's what Faker's going to be looking for.
A lot of burst potential in the Anivia if you can isolate a target with your wall in team fights. As Zeka,
He's running on into this one. Faker's not going to die this time.
Sehr schön gespielt.
I mean, even the tick and damage from the Deathfire touch, Faker's really having a rough time even just surviving.
Yeah,
doesn't have his ult.
Yeah, no ult, no TP. He's in a really dire spot. Zeka's
Solo dive.
to rise. He still has a decent amount.
No
despite-
stun.
Aw.
Yeah, the stun is down. The ghost is.
Der Fire Touch.
Auto doesn't finish him off, and Zeka nearly retakes. Oh, the aggro from the Deathfire touch. A big mistake from Zeka. Faker's laughing his way to the bank.
By the way, Faker's passive was coming up in just a few seconds. I think Faker knew he was playing with him. He was trying to bait him in, and Zeka took the bait, hook, line, and sinker, but the re-aggro on the turret, a huge mistake.
I just feel like it goes through your mind. You're like, oh, the burn might kill him, but then he doesn't register the burn. I shouldn't get on the tower. Zeka gets a little bit too greedy there, and this is a great route back into the lane for Faker, who honestly has been struggling in these early levels.
And this-
now, he was level 5 there. He's up to level 7.
The second Faker Qs, you're like, I'm going in, right? He doesn't have stun, he doesn't have the peel. I think I have the damage.
라인이 너무 써.
He's like, I got him, I got him, I got him. By the way, Faker's super cool about it the whole way
잠깐만.
through.
아, 나 실수.
Oh, I made a mistake, he says.
이렇게 된다고? 그냥 사는 건데.
And the crowd roars behind him. Faker now with a gold lead in a matchup that felt really like he was falling significantly far behind in.
I think part of it, not to make excuses for Zeka, but we've had so many years of phase rush rise and maybe not quite used to Deathfire Touch on the Rise in that situation.
Yeah, it's not very often Rise builds anything that burns.
I mean, 2 HP, right?
In recent patches with the Deathfire Touch. And yeah, so now Faker's in a totally fine spot. We take a look at all the other lanes and where they're at. The Jace is still doing well. The bottom lane is winning for T1 as we
I mean, mechanisch macht er hier
have to flash away.
ein gutes Game, right? Also der sidesteppt alles auf Mitte, aber dann, das ist halt schon wieder so ein Bummer. Top Lane 600 Gold, passt.
And I think Carrier is gonna quite frequently be
Passt.
a point that HLE can look
Der Typ ist so locked in und er wird nichts getroffen, ne?
He is playing Karma. If his flash is down and you're playing into Trundle,
Actual Insanity.
these are picks that can really capitalize on that effectively. And being flashless means you just have to take safer routes when you're trying to rotate, or you have to play a lot more careful when you're trying to get vision down. Delight looking for an aggressive play on the top lane.
Doran has ult and flash though.
I don't really know what they're going to look for here outside of a little bit of harass.
Wenn nur ein Shank damit der Platten hinten kann.
Sion that just has played its
Bin ich decent.
with the shield and level 7.
11er Patch bedeutet gebuffte Grubbies.
So it feels like Delight is looking to do something on the map. Although the knockback is going to come through here, and now Delight.
Schön.
Doran does
Schönes Setup.
that is going to be the kill going to Delight.
Sehr schönes Setup, Mann.
Trickery there.
Geht die Wave auch nicht, das heißt, ein Platt ist weg.
Doran, I don't think expected that, and will cost him his life. He tries to flash, and still ends up dying. Delight flashing is not. I mean, it's not.
Oh, keine Platte weg. Okay, aber guter Base. Serpents fängt fertig.
Flash on this reveal, but
Ah,
I
Jade.
think it's absolutely
You selber, you.
worth it. Now Doran being flashless in this Jace matchup means repeat ganks could be a
Hast du die
possibility.
Sachen gemacht, Jenny?
We do have Owner down here.
Der Cleaver First, kein Serpents. Okay.
Anything even with Carrier in the area, but all right, a big punch back here for HLE.
A big pickup considering that I feel like.
Was macht Camille Support viable? Well, mit Hell of Blades relativ viel Burst. Synergy mit Six Ulti natürlich später. Noch nicht, aber gleich, sicher.
Kill on top of that is just the icing on the cake. We did see Grubs
Okay.
buffed on this patch, so even stronger now.
Er hat kein Flash.
Jace is already
Er hat eine
strong.
Ulti, aber das kann geblockt werden vom Pillar.
Powerful buff to set him up with.
Not to mention the Ziggs, obviously, who's incredibly strong at taking out turrets.
Yeah.
And Avi felt like he was seen just based on the positioning of Doran.
Nee, ich glaube nicht. Er ist gezeigt, naja, wurde nicht gespottet. Super. Pillar blockt die Ulti natürlich. Er ist tot.
There's the ult. It's
Ulti drauf, ja.
Now the Subjugate comes in and he's
Super.
basically made a paper. This is what the Trundle
Super.
is so good at doing. They punish
Kein
Doran
TP.
once again.
Honestly,
Weggehen.
About,
Ja.
the follow-up gank here.
Yeah.
Ich glaube, Owner kann ihn auch nicht killen auf einem Gank.
He subjugate, down he goes.
Sehr gut.
Owner's just trying to protect this turret, but
Blueberry Cheesecake Chunky probiert. Ich glaube nicht.
1000 gold lead. And Jace is
Ich
gonna
glaube
have
nicht.
saving grace here for HLE. They played through him.
Jason hätte sehr gut für für Hanwha.
Be strong, and he is
Yeah.
very strong at this point. So Zeus a phenomenal spot. I feel like in that gank, Kanavi's pillar placement was
Hat die mit.
ideal. It was not cutting off Doran, but with the subjugate, the damage is just there. And if Doran starts falling behind into a composition that has so much damage,
In dem Sinne, gut Kick in die Runde, gut
it's
Kick.
going to be so hard to play these team fights. You step up, a pillar's behind you, you can't ult out, your stats get drained, you get deleted, and suddenly T1's front to back ideas go out the window.
Yeah, gotta be careful. I feel like Sion oftentimes.
Wir gehen Serpents fängt doch First, okay. Vielleicht vom Gold einfach gepasst. Kein Black Cleaver gehabt.
But it feels real bad when he's just sitting there
Sehr gut.
for free gold.
Flash Force ist super.
The enemy team is now Faker in a very awkward spot here,
Wow.
trying to wall his way out of
Boah,
the
alles so
situation.
balanced. The Light du hast.
Long to get away from
Defeated,
this
my
one.
brother. Oh mein Gott.
Get on the edge. Gets in to the realm war.
Ganz großes Kino.
Will survive with the help of Zeka.
Oh, the placement was perfect.
Ganz großes Kino.
Realm Warp inside the Cataclysm to get him out, and Zeka keeps clear, so they can't CC him to cancel.
Problem ist 2 Drakes schon wieder.
In that situation, but a great save there from Zeka.
Aber, I mean,
An awkward spot as well, right?
Rollenverteilung hier sehr, sehr klar. Richtig, also ein Team spielt für Top, das andere nicht.
But he doesn't get the flash off successfully. They try to
Andere spielt für Drakes.
on the play, but the realm warp is very cool. And as a result, you know, it's one flash.
Drakes muss richtig Meter machen.
HLE burning nothing. So very successful there outside of the realm.
Keine 6 Ulti für die Wave mehr. Oh, war ja.
And meanwhile, Ghost
Knall alles auf die Wave, Bruder.
here, but it's
Alles auf die Wave drauf. Oh no, es ist
on the other
fucked.
side, which can feel quite nice into a poke composition in this
All right, we
situation.
got
as Guma
plays in top and
Lol.
trying to punish
Lol.
who already
Lol. Lol.
a whole lot of comes in, makes up
Ganz großes Kino.
the, down onto Pays, as immediately now we got a team
Jeder darf mal Win traden.
trying to double down on this one, but
Und nächste Wave auch noch weg.
oh, they're just trying to hold on to the wave. I don't know if they can really go for a redive here.
I don't think so. And now
Let's fucking go!
freely. Zeus has control of the top side, and Hanwei Esports are swinging into a pretty big gold lead here.
Such a huge win for HLE. Gumyushi doing a phenomenal job there of evading the initial dive. The light slides in to save him, and then the map in
Könnte auch ein A-Gameplay sein.
just
Self-Expose als low elo.
right now. Gold lead for the team expands to 2,000. Gumyushi just slides away with the satchel. Will get poked down a bit there, but it's not too much of a concern.
He doesn't even care.
Yeah, I mean, Gumyushi's played this role for HLE many times before. Have to be on the weak side.
Offensichtlich bin ich Leute, sonst wäre ich nicht hier.
So well there.
Ich habe 1400 LP.
I think a lot of the Zeus, I believe, is 6-0 on this Jace pick. It's because they play through him, right? Unlike a lot of other Jaces, and they leave Guma on this island, right?
Interessant, dass er sich dafür entscheidet, das Mantra Q zu dodgen oder zu flashen, ne? Sehr interessant.
Light comes over, and he's like, let's
Die Knight halt so ein bisschen, dass die Karma aggro nimmt, theoretisch. Also ich vermute mal, das ist die Idee.
on the other side of the map.
Flow plus Karma würde tanken.
On here, Zeus is in a lot of trouble. As,
Hey.
he's kind of been baited in
Hey.
by Doran, honestly. He's trying to dodge everything, goes for the kill.
Hey, Raumstein für den 13.
Is still going to pick it up at the end of the day. Owner pretty fed in his own right.
Yeah, you saw the Ziggs ult coming in trying to help get that kill on the Darn, but I don't think it was quite in range to really connect there. So a nice pickup from T1.
Okay.
They're still in this game, very much so, but that Jace is going to continue being a problem. Also, we've seen this tech many times before, the Serpent's Fang rush into Scion, but the value in this game in general is massive with a Jarvan and a Karma in the game as well. They're just trying to go aggressive here on Doran and just doesn't quite have the damage to cut through.
I mean, okay, I guess. Aber
Yeah, you can see the pings coming over. They kind of realize, oh, okay, this is what's happening. Doran sells this really well. Makes it look like he's just thinking he can actually kind of have a fight with Zeus here. And Zeus wants to continue this pressure in prio. And then Owner shows up. And it was clearly planned 2 steps ahead there for T1. And they end up getting a small win there.
wenn Six okay im Game ist, haben die immer One-Shot-Potenzial auch später. Camillo die plus 6 Ulti.
And now this is a situation though that you can feel really comfortable in with the very fed Jace in one side lane, the Rise another, and you just set up the Ziggs mid. And
Ja, also Laner Time at this point ist Peak für Hanwha. Peak.
at this point of the game,
Jetzt nur nicht feeden.
Prio, he will
Quasi.
push the wave in, but Ziggs will just clear it out before you can really make much of the advantage.
Also basically, sie dürfen nur nicht feeden und dieser Jace wird unironically 4000 Gold Head sein.
On their Jace, who is very fed, their Ziggs that's surviving, and the Rise that is scaling. Does feel like, you know, as long as they can poke past the Scion and the fed Jarvan, they should be eating pretty well, as now Faker's in a bit of trouble here himself. Doesn't
Ist
have
tot, ne?
He's just
Wow.
looked down to edge.
Just like that.
Owner's there, but he just has to watch his mid laner die as
Also die spielen sehr gut, ne? Also das ist verdammt geil gewesen.
T1 can play through right
Toplane Wave weg, er ist in den Busch reingesneakt.
Hasn't hit his 2 items spike.
Richtig geil. Bekommen Herald for free, dementsprechend Battle Herald jetzt für den dritten Drake.
2 Dragons per
Der sieht mir, boah, Pace könnte fertiges Moramana haben. 15 Minuten? Nee, oder? 15 Minuten, 10 CS pro Minute, 1 Kill.
They guarantee this
Knapp.
Herald here. Zeka's already putting
Aber er hat auf jeden Fall noch keine Stacks für den Drake. Das heißt, der Drake sollte sehr fightbar sein für Hanwha.
like if T1 can't force a fight here soon.
Summoner-technisch wird der Flash auch wieder ab sein von Six. Fight sieht sehr playable aus.
Game 'cause they have too much control.
Bitte Pace Gliding mit Edge. Wieso seid ihr denn alle für T1 hier und in meinem Stream?
Push, and he springs the trap first.
Wie habt ihr euch denn hierhin verirrt?
Faker is just going to be abandoned by Owner.
I feel like Kanavi finds his way into these lane brushes so often, sneaks his way in, and is just patiently waiting there for his opportunity. And Faker, so
Ja,
often
Animals.
when he dies in the side lane. the typical
So, ich sehe Jace fertig, 2 Items.
Faker dies.
So.
All
Problem ist kein Flash bei Zeus noch.
Instance, as you said, not able to convert it into anything. 20 seconds on that Dragon Theater of the game. As you said,
Ich bin für WE, weil das stört dich ja auch. Nö, kannst für WE sein. Die werden halt, also die kriegen morgen einen Arsch voll.
Right
Yeah.
to hang their hat on here in this game. Besides the small Ezreal lead, right? But that doesn't necessarily matter. The rest of the map is in shambles, and if you can't
Wird T1 gegen Genji spielt, voll fair.
Ezreal, and
I
then
mean,
better
voll fair.
Anyways, with Ziggs and Jace, it is going to feel really tricky. T1, you could opt to just leave this dragon, but I think the value of having Soul Point is going to be enough for them to commit.
Wow, wirklich.
You do have Zek-
Also ich würde sagen, man contestet oder nicht. Zeus hat TP.
looks like they want to collapse. Might be
Aber so spät.
so, as the
Heißt, sie spielen für Fight?
to the Dragon. Kanavi just gonna walk up, not gonna get the smite though. As
Hard Engage auf Pace. Pace rübergepult. Oh.
back in and everything in the kitchen sink. is
Nehme ich.
in the face. The one
Nehme ich, glaube ich, wenn die jetzt noch Midlane-Turret bekommen, oder Jayden.
just more gold in the pockets of HLE now.
Die Combo in Question, ne?
Satchel to secure.
Geil. Goldie acceleraten. Problem ist wirklich, dass sie jetzt auf Soul Point sind.
You can see he's trying to avoid
Holy
the wall
fuck, ist
there.
der Jace stark, Mann.
Drift up to the top side, and this push continues. Kanavi is gonna have to flash, but I think
Die gehen den Trail auch noch, oder nicht? Auf der Wave hier.
what they've got.
Mit 6W. Ja.
Second charge puts the tower not quite low enough to satchel, but pretty close.
Gehen nicht dafür. Okay.
Could be in
Alter.
trouble.
Ja, also, erneut, ich glaube rein komptechnisch nicht das geilste Anivia-Game. Also Jace und Six machen halt richtig Terror. Richtig Terror. Und das kann er, wie er Flash verliert, lassen wir einfach mal so stehen. Was kauft der? Kauft der Black Cleaver? Oder ja, der kauft Hexblade. Okay.
You can make a choice to both give a dragon, but also commit to the dragon and get exit kills, which is exactly what they do here.
Bisschen spät habe ich nämlich Ausgefühl gehabt.
Upside here, they use the herald at the same time, so like we're gonna get something out of this no matter what. But it's the flash here from
Boah, ein Glück ist dieses Hextech-Ding da nicht über die Wand gegangen, ne?
They don't even need it, but they are so ready for 3 different.
Also da ist auch, ja, und das ist korrekt, da ist eine Menge Gold jetzt auf der Map, die sie easy mit 6W collecten können. Botlane Turret, Midlane Tier 2 Turret, Toplane ist schon auf, also Toplane Tier 2 ist schon eine Plate drunter.
You got the dragon, we got everything else.
And now with mid tower gone, feels
Müssen wir schauen, ob der Gold reicht.
so much deeper to contest these neutral objectives. When you have
Wir sind
a
auch noch-
position like this, when you have the likes of the pillar, of the Hextech ultimatum, it's going to be difficult to disengage from unfavorable situations. With this gold deficit, most situations are going to be unfavorable for T1 right now. We do have Pays coming up on that big item spike with the mirror mana being stacked soon, but it just doesn't feel nearly as significant as it could be in this state of game.
I wonder if now for T1 the game plan is completely shifted and you start thinking about your Anivia wave clear and you start thinking about giving up a few dragons and you start thinking about maybe, you know, we contest for some barons later on, but we're just gonna have to let everything go from here on out. Just try
2 Items fertig bei Kanavi, also across the board. HLE ziemlich stark, natürlich Royal of Ages Proc fehlt noch. Beide Solo-Laner extreme Head. Das war auch die Idee im Draft natürlich. Mal sehen.
Problem as well is that you're playing where your engage is mostly the Jarvan and maybe the Scion, but Scion is playing into
Torchpreis als Ludens. Ich vermute mal, das ist wegen Scion plus Jarvan.
the other side. All 3 carries on HLE have flashes.
Oh wow.
Owner here. I mean, even a TP gonna be committed to as
Oh wow.
trying to come over and help them, but now Faker gets baited into this one, but he will be okay.
Flash von Zeka ist raus. Wow.
Zeka also using both summoners.
I mean, sie bekommen Zeit auf Toplane, aber
They've got to respond to the top push.
liegendes Geld Nummer 1. Der Toplane, oh, der Toplane ist auch weg. Er muss noch aufpassen, ne, dass er nicht stirbt da.
Just a great macro game from HLE. This is also the type of
Sehr viel Gold.
that we've been talking about, kind of tangentially to this, where we've seen HLE pull back.
Nächster Turret mit 6W weg, wenn die jemals auf Toplane kommen.
Choke people out.
Mitte Tier 2, basically 6W Range.
Type of game where it's not just Kanavi dives repeatedly.
Frage ist, wen schicken sie? Ihr müsst jetzt Jace Botlane schicken, right? Jace Botlane und dann Zeka auf Top enden?
And
Muss die Idee sein?
is just so immense, and T1 has so little options.
Jace Top Rice Bot.
That little scrap, and it costs them most of a top inner turret
I mean, you
because of
look
the
at
grubs here.
how much play gold Zeus has gotten. The fact that they got those 3 grubs for him, the Zig's been here
Okay.
as well, can help with tower pushing, but just Zeus has been absolutely on a tear this game.
1 Minute auf Drake, I guess.
So hard to deal with. When you're playing outside of the Ezreal, a shorter range composition, it's a minute until that next dragon. They did at least
Bleibt die Anivia da oben
in
nochmal.
that situation, but when I was talking about the 3 carries of HLE,
Nee,
he is the
okay.
bulkiest by far, and if you do Cataclysm him, they don't have the most amazing damage follow-up to just burst through him. If he survives, you're in a really bad spot. Ideally, you would have loved to get Zeus' flash, and then take him out of the fight immediately, remove all that gold, and be in with much better odds. We'll have to see how T1 play this one. That Cataclysm is such an important ability.
Yeah, keep in mind this Jace was
Kein Flash bei Ona.
the first pick
Für den Fight.
HLE,
Colin
from
Chidwick.
the side, obviously.
Yeah.
And Zeus,
So, ich glaube, Jace kommt mit Voltaik auch noch in den Drake-Fight außerdem.
even when we saw so many
Weiß nicht, wie viel Standing Gold er hat, aber. Oder Sitting Gold. Aber wenn der Cyclops hat, fertig hat, knallt's.
different options for teams, but you know, T1 say, okay, we'll play the Scion, we'll deal with this, but the amount of help that
Obwohl, er hat vielleicht nicht so viel Gold. Er hat erst gekauft gehabt.
It's all just ballooned into some problem that T1 cannot handle. And speaking of which, Faker walking up and nearly dying is going
Solid
to
play.
away. As now the front to back is here for the side of T1, but they're very much playing
Poke muss landen, ne? Weil die haben keine Shuttle-Ulti mehr.
blast though.
Poke muss landen, ne?
A chance for them to enter, but we'll see if they
Okay, sie haben ihn schon. Okay.
I don't think so. I think you gotta just,
Er hat's? Okay, ich hab's nicht drauf geachtet.
get a little bit of a dent on this turret, but Zeus
they're going in onto Zeus as
Holy fuck, macht der Damage. Können die aber noch spielen, oder nicht? Die sind so gechunkt. Ja. Sehr gut. Sag gar keine Sums. Zu deep, oder? Zu deep. Alter. So viel Damage. Faker hat keinen Flash. Junge. Der Jace macht so viel Damage. Hilfe.
Very close there, honestly, for Carrier going down. A lot
Ich würde sagen, Game State ist eigentlich ganz geil jetzt für Hanwha, aber sie haben keine Flashes. Also sie haben halt Guma Flash weg und Zeus Flash weg. Scary. Also.
This and Gumyushi's flash has been burned. I feel like this is the window they've been looking for to be able to actually make their way back in with a fight. If you can find a window to engage on those targets, then maybe.
Gameplay-technisch ist es hier Top-Tier. Mein Problem ist jetzt wirklich, dass Hanwha keine Flashes mehr hat. Als nächstes Grudge Chase wahrscheinlich, ja. Ich glaube nicht, dass er Black Cleaver gehen wird. Hier richtig schön langsam gespielt alles, ne? Hier der Poke nach und nach, der landet. Jetzt die nächste EQ von Zeus. Boom. Hui.
T1 are like, we got to give up the dragon, we'll get something in return. They really get nothing in terms of the turret, but we're able to at least get those critical flashes.
Flash Timers jetzt, wie gesagt.
Given that opportunity, it'll be a real advantage. His Delight has also made a paper.
Wow, schön. Wow, schön. Faker hat kein Flash. Owner tot. Starker Catch. Nash Start muss eigentlich kommen. Eigentlich muss Nash Start kommen. Die können auch, also T1 kann auch nicht ändern, das muss Nash sein. Richtig geil, wie viel Damage die auch haben. Die haben so viel Burst. Wow. Die wollen turnen? Okay. Kein Nash mehr, kein Nash mehr. Raus. Okay. Die wollen weiter Gold haben, finde ich die, oder? Sie sind so durchgepokt. Na, meint. Ziggs und Jay sind so AOP hier. Und nächste Bombe, wann kommt sie? Nash ist weg, right? Owner ist jetzt erst gespawnt. Ja. Ja. Die spielen so gut. Ohne Spaß, das ist so insane gespielt. Zeka pusht noch top, der ist Level 16. Er geht. Oh mein Gott, er geht Actualizer, kein Rocket Pit. Oh mein Gott. Da nochmal extra zu turn auf Doran finde ich so interessant, ne? Dass sie so confident sind, dass sie nochmal an mir. Vielleicht sind sie nicht mal confident, dass sie Nash nochmal bekommen können. Dann entscheiden sie einfach dafür. Anyways.
And now you don't have access to the Baron. You don't have a jungler. The poke is saying, look, again, the bomb's here in this choke point. T1 have to wait that out. Which means Paze is only the one who can offer damage when Doran goes in. And as you can see here,
der ist auch so One-Shot, nicht mal Trundle Ulti, by the way. Der ist aus Paper. Actualizer fertig, Shadow Flame fertig. Vielleicht ist noch immer da bei Zeus und bei Gumayushi.
When Ona went in, the immediate ult into light, so he couldn't flag and drag out. They're controlling the members of T1 so well, and whenever anyone is overextended, giving so little chance to escape, and now with this massive lead and Baron in hand, it's going to be almost impossible to stand up the siege. Yes, Faker's wave clear, but look at the poke.
Ja, schön. Die haben jetzt eine Tool zum Engagen, okay? Literally, die haben eine Chance zu engagen. Wenn die jetzt nicht an diesem einen Engage sterben, free. Okay, nicht auf Trundle. Auf Guma, auf Zeus oder Gumayushi. Zeus Flash müsste aber wieder ab sein in so 15 Sekunden. Rice sollte noch Windows Approach gehen. Nein, ich glaube, so das ist das bessere Item wahrscheinlich. Dieser T1 Zeus nochmal gedroppt. Ich weiß nicht, ob das so lief. Tatsächlich.
The bad news is everything else. And Ace still has a gold. You're not really selling it there. Ace still has a gold lead, right? He's on 3 items.
Mein Nash-Play war nicht mal so groß, right? Oh, Playoff Faker. Er kann Flash.
Yeah, and once again, owner's like, man, I might have to try to bail you out again, but there's no.
Ja, die spielen so gut.
As the Realmore play from Zeka is excellent.
The snap plays from HLE this game have just been so good, so intelligent, such good reads of the map. Na'Vi might be in trouble here.
And he is Trundle, but you know he's never really had to burn his flash.
Yep.
So he just uses it there, and I mean, there's not really much that T1 can do to use.
Ja, sie können auch das Failight haben bei der ist auch am Feeden.
Baron. And I think T1 will not lose Inhibitor Tower at this point. So the game is in a dire spot, but I guess that's a silver lining for now at least.
Yeah,
the Dragon gonna
selling
go
it well
over
too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying. Doing my best.
This Hexblade Trundle is super interesting as well. I really like this build because it's going to give you your subjugate all the time, and he keeps just using it on whoever is seen and caught. It's obviously amazing into Zion, but it's great into the Jarvan as well. If you could find him, he just dies instantly, basically, when he's trying to go in. So you say, well, you engaged on us, but who did you catch? You caught the Ryze, who's super tanky, who has Seraphs. You die. Good try. And every single time Owner has to try to go in, he has to think twice about what it's going to mean into this Trundle pick that's got its ult up all the time.
Yeah, and this comp from the side of HLE is so win more as well because you have so much catch potential with the Camille. Like
so, die Frage ist, wie siegen sie jetzt? Wollen sie siegen? Und wir spielen wahrscheinlich Nash, oder? Nash plus Catches. Gleich wieder ab bei Hunter.
And I mean, you know, the follow-up damage from the Ziggs, the Ryze, everybody that's ahead. We take a look at the difference in the gold and the damage in the top lane. It's actually kind of disgusting. Almost 5 times the damage done here by Zeus. And yes, it is the Scion, but I mean, that's a huge impact so far from Zeus.
We've got some big item buyers coming in as well. Gumushi just picked up the Void Staff. We got Sterak's for Delight.
Ezreal ist noch überstark. Ich weiß nur nicht, ob das reicht, weil ich glaube, sie werden weiterhin so outrange, dass der Ezreal auch nicht aktiv was machen kann. Und die haben immer noch die potenzielle Camille-Kombo. Mal sehen. Die auch 2 Items hat, by the way. Wer zaubert Faker? Ist ein hartes Anivia-Game. Im Draft angesprochen. Praxis sieht dasselbe aus, sieht genauso aus.
35 minutes plus, 40 minutes in this game, T1 will have a fighting chance as that Goldie means less and less, but this is not D plus KT, you know, this is not that kind of game. I don't think HLE are going to mess this up. They've made all the right decisions here with this lead. They have been so oppressive. Like, this means nothing to them.
Hexblade Trundle, ich persönlich bin nicht der größte Freund. I mean, in der Theorie ist es gut auf ihm, aber ich weiß nicht, keine Ahnung, keine Meinung. Deadman's Second auch irgendwie komisch, also vielleicht ist es besser als Heckman's Second. Not sure. Ich schneid's auf Anivia.
Zeus pushing the top wave and now recalling to group up with the team, so now have all members grouped together. You can see setting up this vision, they're looking.
Wow, going in on a carry actually. This is very aggro to try to kill the support, and yeah, they do get him, but Delight immediately treats everything. Taunted out
Alter.
This is his flash, and now he's just barely gonna get away for now, but Zeus is going very deep. Gets up against the wall, and Zeus going too hard.
Was?
Taken down.
I think T1 got a little lucky there, but also this was the moment I said.
Digga, wo kommt der Schlaganfall auf einmal wieder her?
Maybe a little patience is lost because Unlife Esports have such a lead, but they weren't happy to just sit back and say, well, we'll just wait for that Baron to spawn and look for the Baron there. They end up losing 2 critical members though before the Baron spawns, and now don't have that strong foothold they had moments before. As Carrier Delight's
Was ist das für ein Schlaganfall?
I'm not going to allow it, but he's not alone. He has basically the whole team here. And the trade initially looks great. Owner messes up this flash, which is a bit of a tragedy, but baits them in. T1 are on that Baron I was just talking about. You get these kills, and suddenly you've got a window back in the game.
And so much of the gold is on Zeus as well. They take him out, and now Kanavi has to try to come in here and steal.
I mean, ist so tanky. Ist so tanky, sie gewinnen, oder?
Actually going to trade his life with Page, but more damage is coming out here. Good massive ult from Doran, but the follow-up not there just yet. They finally take out Zeka, though. They haven't dealt with Guma as Delight goes in, and now Zeus is back. TP's into the fight.
Oh mein Gott, Jarvan ist auch noch tot.
Super low, trying to get away, and a shot blast barely.
Ey, bitte.
But HLE at least able to clean up this Baron try.
T1 saw their window back in the game and did everything.
Nash zu machen ist richtige Entscheidung, Red, aber also bitte.
Force them off the Baron, force them away, and with the respawn of Zeus, get them away from the purple worm. But it was a delicate point of the game. You got to feel We see with this fight starting off.
Ja, er ist halt so tanky mit der Sion-Ulti drauf noch.
He survives for a while, but Pays plays so aggressive and just gets deleted, trying to clean up the jungler.
Waren die nicht?
If
And then
Pays,
the
I mean, sie kriegen ihn wahrscheinlich richtig.
so hard.
if Pays lives, it's a totally different fight. Faker's so low on mana, as you guys could see.
Nicht Soul geben.
You know, he just cannot afford to stick around any longer. They have to just leave Doran out. Now, they are in live trying to take Baron. He has respawn, but he isn't here yet.
Nee, Kanavi kommt. Es ist okay, es ist okay, es ist okay, es ist okay.
Got a tank in this, but I think the poke of Guma might be too much, as that's a bit of damage coming on in, and a smite
Okay.
should be there from Kanavi. Waits until 1,000 health, and he's
Drake.
able to pick it up. It looked a little bit dicey, but at the end of the day, they're far enough ahead. There's not enough of a contest from.
Warum immer random Schlaganfall? Ich verstehe es nicht. Warum?
Yeah, I also think that Faker and Carry without flashes.
Okay, Hut fertig bei
Baron
Guma.
himself, so we're kind of just poking
Warum immer ein Schlaganfall?
that much range, so we're able to do a ton now. T1 are trying to get
Noch kein Hut bei Rice, aber
get control of the area, set up and lock down the space. You can see Zeka looking for a flank angle here.
And they're trying to go and
Shut up, Carrier.
turn maybe a kill on a Kanavi, try to get something out. Big damage.
Holy fuck.
And the flank comes in, but they turn immediately on his
Wow, das ist Schild.
shield on him, but they take down the Rise. And now trying to kite this one front to back is T1. In goes Owner, has a GA.
Okay.
The light is able to
Okay, okay.
Israel, and that is so much of the damage here.
Sie gibt
Kanavi goes down, Faker's still alive. Zeus slowed up. He's gonna get stunned next to the dragon, and it's chaos. Nobody can deal with the Scion, actually. And now the long-range poke comes in, and T1 are winning a fight down 7,000 gold. They're gonna take the Ocean Soul. And Guma's done 7,000 damage, but he's all alone. Just a sad little Ziggs with his back against the Scion. Is able to take out Owner, funnily enough, but a small prize as Doran picks up a massive sack of gold.
Doran's their final form on this Scion, and I think the mistake here was Zeka approaching on this flank with no flash available. T1 see him, and immediately Owner turns onto him.
And
And
the
even
thing-
as bulky as he is, he still goes down.
The thing I think they were thinking was, I got enough damage with this Actualizer Rise. Once the ult comes down from Guma, I wipe them. He's thinking, I'm going to clean them up so fast, but he doesn't. He gets poked, but just basically collapsed on there and blown up. T1 snap, engage, and turn the focus the second he shows on vision there. And then, like you said, there just isn't enough damage to cut through this Scion anymore. As Guma plays this really well, he plays it as best as he can.
Oh, we got another pick here, by the
Zeka?
way. Zeka, he runs out, doesn't have any time, and Zeka again, unfortunately, has been a bunch of errors in this game that have really put his team in a bad spot, and now T1, all of a sudden, they're pushing mid. This is the same game where they were 8,000 gold behind, 2 Barons to HLE. And you said it before, well, if they didn't break into the base, they really didn't break the backs of T1. And T1 have been in this position before where they're just waiting for the enemy team to make mistakes, and we have seen quite a few of them here.
Zigzag being used defensively now. Poke missing there from Zeus as well. And with the Ocean Soul, they're feeling so much safer against that poke. Oh,
We got an
Doran's
angle here.
looking.
Doran looking for it, trying to get the flank on her, but so many knockups. They get the kill on the Ziggs. They're looking for more. As down will go Owner. A lot of damage from the turret going on at T1. But at the end of the day, they have the Karma shields. They have this gigantic Scion. And they are just force pressing HLE into these fights and winning them.
I mean, this is what happens if you make a critical mistake. As Zeka made 2 in a row, the game can change just like that.
Look at this.
In this moment, he's just pushing midway here. Faker catches him with the max range Q. He has no flash. Then the wall comes up. He tries to realm warp his way out, but there's just too many threats. But you can see what happens when HLE's composition loses map control, loses vision control, and has to poke through waves, has to poke blind with the Jace and the Ziggs. The Ziggs is using his ultimate to clear waves, but the wave still crashes. This game has turned on its head completely. Honda Life Esports still with a gold lead, but the control they had is completely gone.
Yeah, barely at this point, having the gold lead and Doran with the Ocean Soul and the items he has, so hard to cut through. For so much of this game, it's been about Zeus being ahead of the curve, but now he has 4 items and a dig compared to 4 items of Doran. You're just not cutting through that Scion. You had a timer where you were so far ahead, you could deal with T1, you were ahead, everything was going for you. The map control was spectacular. And then a step too far, and suddenly HLE now staring down the prospect of an even kill game, only 1,000 gold lead, and to lose a game 1 like this would be absolutely devastating to the mental. So definitely not over yet, but I feel like they have to find a better way to approach these fights, try and get some poke onto the backline members, the critical members again, because if they try and brute force through Doran, it's just never going to work unless he really oversteps.
Especially with the amount of nemesises that this team has, that, you know, for some of these players like Zeus versus Doran, you start to think, if I can't win with this lead, can I win at all? His owner is going to avoid this engage.
They're going very hard into this Jarvan, and they should be able to take him down. Nicely done, just trying to utilize that. As now the TP is coming in, and this is Faker! He just TPs directly in the face of HLE.
There it is!
And now Pays, really the main character here, trying to get away. But HLE are on the chase. The roof
There it is!
down. And just like that, everything
Und
flips
wir sind back.
again. Carry all by his lonesome gets taken down.
So, ihr fucking Loser. Wo seid ihr, scheiß T1-Fanboys?
But they're TPing in.
LMS.
HLE want to end the game now.
Was war das? Was ist das für ein Shit-Game?
You might know he'll stay alive.
Was ist das für ein Shit-Game, bitte? Low-Elo. Todes-Low-Elo. Wie kann man so geil spielen und dann so thrown?
The game back from the brink. Don't manage to close it out. Fumble at the last moment, and it's HLE with a decisive end to game 1.
What the fuck?
You've got to feel a lot of relief if you were a Hanwha Life fan. You can see on the players' faces, not any celebration at those moments.
What the fuck?
They clutched it out in the end.
Baker, was war das? Bitte, was war das?
Into the entirety of their team, and they walk away the ones who destroyed the Nexus, but they
Was war das für ein Schwachsinn?
always have in the back of their minds that gold graph, the
Hab so ein Hals.
errors that Zeka
So ein Hals. Wie kann man so thrown fast?
in the mid lane to the wrap
Ich kann nicht mehr.
getting caught by
Ich muss kurz duschen. Also ich sag kurz mal irgendwann Hallo und dann gehe ich kurz duschen. Meine Fresse, wie kann man so werfen? Check das nicht. Bis gleich. Ist das krank, by the way? Nee, wie kann man so gelangweilt sein? Und wie kann man so gelangweilt sein? Ich check das nicht.
Makes you feel like anything is possible, and for on life you might think any game is losable. We won this one, but we are really going to have to tighten it up going into game 2.
I think for both teams, the thought that would be going through my head right now is this is going to be a long series.
Absolutely.
I think it will be, based on what we've seen. I think it really highlights the fact that both these teams are so good that if you give them even an inch, both ways, they will take it and try to take a mile and try to win the game. And T1 nearly were able to do that. HLE, they got one mistake. They got that pick on an owner. The TP from Faker was a bit aggressive. They were able to take him down. You give them an inch, they're going to take a mile on both sides. So HLE winning the series so far 1-0 after a bit of a heart attack moment there in that game number 1. But we'll have to wait and see what happens in game number 2 after the break.
저.
와봐 가졌다.
공원 막아놨고.
잡았어.
좋아.
태부터 애니비야 가져가.
네네네네. 맞아.
애니비야 풀렸다. 애니비야 풀렸다.
애니비야. 다 했어?
이제 진짜 맞았고. 아 사연. 돼.
우리 둘이 사이언. 나이스. 사이언 가져.
사연 잡으면 끝난다.
사이언 잡아야 돼.
바로. 아 사연 와봐.
알겠어. 대포 있다.
아 다행이다.
정신 차리자잉.
내가 차릴게. 너가 봐. 해. 끝내자. 런들이 와도 돼요.
그냥 집중만 더.
탐나네. 손 잘 풀었다잉.
형님 집중 풀어줘.
무조건 끝나.
얘
이기는 게 좋은 거 알지? 잘 물었다 마지막에.
얘못 가.
다행이다.
The walls of the DB Promi Arena have not felt something like that. It was throw after throw, catch after catch, and ultimately, it is Hanwha Life Esports taking game number 1. What a way to kick off our first for second matchup. Digon here alongside Wadid, Puni, and Yankos to break that last one down. And let's start with the draft here, Wadid, as it didn't go the way that our mock draft thought. We had AP bot to start, we had the Camille to start. It was crazy.
I mean, I thought they have to get away from Karma, but it was really ballsy from them. Like, they just opened up Ezreal Karma, and they picked their top side from HLE, and then just let your bot lane just sack the pressure from them. And I think Guma, Yushi, and Delight was the one taking the pressure on that. I mean, leaving up Ezreal Karma open against T1, and the BOK in the bot lane. That's just crazy. That blows my mind right here.
I mean, also, I think Hanwha Life Esports, I think that it really pays off, like just by picking just 1-2 Jace and Ryze into last pick the jungle encounter and against the Sion 3 pick. I mean, I thought that I think Yorick could be better because like you're playing Sion, losing matchup on top, and you're playing tank, you're playing into Jace, you're playing against the Ryze, and then 5 pick against Trundle. It's miserable. Like you can't play Sion in this team comp.
The real problem though is Chandler, right? Because he makes Sion so difficult to play. Hypothetically speaking, if T1 would pick Yorick and would play strong side top lane, then Ezreal Karma doesn't really want to play that way, right? You want to play towards Ezreal Karma, you have a fast killing jungler, you can snowball that bot lane, but when the Chandler comes out and then Sandy Sandish is a free kill every single time Chandler visits top lane, this is where the draft becomes hard.
Yeah, let's take a look at how it all shook out. It's like what you said earlier here, Wadid. It was absorbing the pressure on the bot side of the map and then trying to get that Jace going on the top side, and the God of Thunder does it right here with Kanavi.
And I feel like this is the case where there is 2 plays happening at the same time, right? One of is from HLE, and they are diving top lane. Doran is under a lot of pressure at this point. He has no flash, no wood, so he's just a free kill. That was just so easy, right? Chandler ult, you walk up, you chomp him, and you kill him.
Is that what's chomping?
Yeah. And then at the same time, look, Guma is a weak side 6. It's so easy. I mean, he plays very well. He flashes away from the
so well.
Q. He sidesteps the Jarvan Q, and then he clears the wave. The light is there to help him. They get 1 kill. Imagine playing weak side and getting a kill, and even Faker TPs, and it's just so late, and it's just a disaster. And this is what makes the game impossible in the early game.
Yeah, I mean, it was like so abused, like them getting mid-private and just going top. So that's why T1 make really good counter play. Bottom, the play was good, the pre-play was good, but it was overplayed.
Yeah, but that wasn't just it. T1 were able to go ahead and stack up the Drakes. They got to all 3. There was one fight on the 3rd Drake where they get away. It was a 1-for-1, so you're thinking, okay, we still got a chance. Let's go ahead and see how that soul fight works on out. And that's what T1 does here later on in this, after the Baron had been taken.
Yeah, they did really well on the Drake management, so that's why they could have such a huge advantage towards the Drake soul. And I think the way how they do the team fight around Anivia and Ezreal was on point. And look at Jarvan, he's going in, going out. Even though you lost the pace, you still kite back with the Sion. It was insane.
I mean, this game, I think HLE actually just like, they were not actually, even though they were winning, they were not actually just first setup. Like, sure, they're playing Jace and Ryze, but I think it's like, they have to actually get in the right position for the objective.
And I feel like they were just in time to be there. They have that zone control. I feel like Pace did his job because he did kill Zeka. I think Zeka might have overplayed a little bit. His flank was smart, but it kind of just killed him off instantly. And when you don't have Zeka, who kills Sion? Nobody.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden, as much as it was a almost 7.8 thousand gold lead, it gets whittled down into a soul, but then it's just another random EP here.
Nah, but I think this is such an unforced error from Honor here because Anivia was literally recalling from the top lane. There's no point.
The TP as well.
No point.
But you
down
see,
through the mid lane though.
One is absolutely not prepared for it because even Faker is trying to salvage the play by TPing in. But when he TPs, Honor is already dead, and 4 people from HLE are standing on top of the TP. So Faker can't even get out, and the fight just turns into a mess, into a disaster.
So many delusional play from I think T1. I think I didn't expect this coming in from T1 because they are the one who's experienced. They are the one, the king of the international. So
the king of chaos.
King of chaos, I guess.
The circus.
Maybe. This is the start of the circus.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it kind of felt like they were juggling with the flaming, you know, I don't know, pieces of wood. Like, you know, it started to catch a little bit on fire. They just played a little bit too fast here. But so did Hanwha. And I think that's one of the great things about this series so far, and we've seen it when they played in the regular season as well. they play fast. And sometimes it's a lot of unforced errors. Sometimes it's a lot of mistakes, and you see a recovery from one team. In this case, it was Hanwha Life Esports, who are up 1-0. Let's see how the rest of this series shakes on out. Let's send it back on over to our casters.
Thank you so much, Deskers, for that breakdown. I love the breakdown of all the little moments that were very critical in that game. So maybe not so little, but able to really turn the tides in either direction. HLE very far ahead. Then it was close. Then they catch owner off guard, force the error, and win the game.
I love how they were breaking down during the clips. You know, they were breaking it down, but they were also breaking down over just the chaos that happened in the game. Some great reactions from the desk there, but going into game two, as we were saying before, not a game one that either team is going to come away from feeling happy about. HLE obviously get the point score, which is the big takeaway, but not the smoothest sailing that they would have hoped for with how that game started in particular.
I think one of the big picks that we're going to have our eye on in this game too is the Caitlyn pick, right? It's the one that is lane dominant. Now that we're moving into game two of Fearless, where so much is already removed, some of those high tier picks like the Rise,
So, hallo, mit da.
Marvin are gone.
So.
You have a lot more draft
Alrighty.
stability. So maybe that is where we see these two teams go. T1 looking for second pick. Let's see if HLE give it to them here. The blue side selection. Unknown what side HLE did go for yet, as of yet. Okay, first pick. So T1 will get blue side and second pick. So maybe that Caitlyn lane is what they're looking for here.
Really, danke schön für 14. Jetzt muss ein Gift von meiner automatisch aktiviert. Dreck. Machen wir.
Yeah,
I love this.
Ist die Migräne besser?
The little Timo on the front.
So.
Obviously indicating that we're here in 1-2. And if you win, you go to Daejeon, which is where MSI is, and the connection between the two cities.
It's kind of taking the scenic route, though. It's going like really round out to the side.
Well, that's what we're here for, right? We're not on the train yet.
Okay.
You know? Varus going to be banned again here. Orianna remains incredibly high prio.
So.
HLE, it's going to be a bar ban in the slot. Yeah.
Beschämtes Lächeln ist Sieg. Grüß Gott, hallo.
T1, they have first pick.
Ich bin wieder am Arbeiten.
There's some wiggle room there for sure.
So, Bart raus.
But I think that you just don't want to introduce this very.
Actually, ich meine, Hanwha könnte auch Bart first picken. To be honest. To be honest, kann es auch ein Bart first picken.
From the light, we talked about how the buffs to melee supports definitely helps him, and he was on great form in that game one on the Camille. So if he has the chance to play.
Ah, okay, perfekt. Und da ist der Bart gebannt.
But it really depends on.
Ist ein Bart first picken? Zum Zeitpunkt war er nicht gebannt, oder? Well, kein Bart first pick. Doch, perfekt.
Yeah, we did see that the Nautilus was banned in game one, away from Delight as well. We'll see if T1.
Er redet erst bevor er schaut. I mean, ich hab legit nach ihm geschaut, ja. Also.
Something else, but first we'll have that final Hanwha ban. It's the Vayne.
Early nah könnte das bedeuten. Also wenn man einen Carry als Bart offen lassen, wenn dann nur für First Pick.
Depending on this last man for T1, will they let the Cassiopeia go free, or will they just take that out here? Obviously being super high prio in the LCK.
Sollten Cassio bannen.
I think you probably want to ban the Cassiopeia over the Nautilus. But they'll ban the Nar.
Sie bannen nah, okay. Nah wegen Weinbann, okay. Das heißt, Cassio ist offen, Weiß offen, Nautilus ist offen. Jetzt ist interessant, na? Kommt hier Nautilus First Pick oder spielen die hier irgendwas dagegen rein? Braumlane beispielsweise.
Some of the more common range supports, Caitlyn stocks might be down a little bit here. What they want to go for in this first spot. Cassiopeia, definitely a strong option, especially considering there's no Rise, there's no Anivia. They'll go for Kanavi's Vi instead.
I mean, he's just been on a tear on this pick, and a lot of Zeka's champion pool does pair up well with it. Obviously, a pick that Into the Miasma doesn't have a super fun time, but if you just ult the Cassiopeia and you have the follow-up, can take her out of the fight. We'll see if T1 look to
Sie gehen vorbei, okay. War gemeint, Stomp. Stomp bis zum Schlaganfall, ja.
Vi isn't a pairing we typically expect to see very much.
More commonly, something like the Ahri.
Yeah, or
Exactly, the Aurora. Bessa pick here early.
Wow.
in this draft.
Sie wollen nicht am besser geben, am besser war ja. Es war ja am besser eigentlich noch ein Ding. Ja, ist es. 3-0 Hanwha. Nicht zu früh, Freund. Nicht zu früh, Freund.
Normally, if you go for a pick like this, you're leaning towards a dive composition of some type. Is it going to be like Mbessa Lulu with the Nocturne? It looks like they're going to grab the Nocturne first, because they won't be able to get both. But I feel like you didn't need to pick the Mbessa here.
Ja, ich frage, ob sie Cassio jetzt spielen damit. Gegen Nocturne am besser Cassio spielen.
These are great
Mal
picks
sehen.
for these players. You know, Doran's had fantastic results in the Mbessa
Mal sehen.
or Nocturne. We've seen it so many times, but they're committing heavily to this sort of dive setup when they don't really know what they're going to be diving yet. There isn't that information, and I feel like HLE have the opportunity to draft around that and make sure that carries are in a position where they can be
Rek'Sai top.
more defensive and able to survive.
This was a classic for Zeus in the past.
Wo ist Sinsao? Brian hin? Sinsao hat immer noch viel gespielt, aber beide Teams sind sehr gute Vi-Teams. Alle drin. Dementsprechend Bryce Vi super hoch und dann gegen Vi willst du was Reaktives oder Proaktives haben. Das Sinsao halt weder noch so wirklich eher reaktiv oder eher reaktiv. Dementsprechend Nocturne mehr Proaktivität. Oder besseres Counterganken auch. Cassio, oder? Ari.
For like Aurora, Talia were both potential options, but they go for the Ari, and I think in terms of safety as well as being able to follow up,
Cassio ist hier nicht gut.
to get on. There aren't any easy targets
Die könnten eine Blanc Slam.
focus on for T1. I feel like at this point yet, it really depends on what Guma's pick isn't in the AD carry role.
Sie könnten eine Blanc Slam.
This will be coming after the next set of bans.
Saya Rakan, High Stonks.
Will they go
Außerdem
for an AD carry pick or a mid pick? Will they answer the Ari first and foremost?
Question we're going to have answered. Lissandra for
Lissandra beantwortet es gut.
talking about this pick a lot recently. Very powerful.
Saya Rakan ist super High Value.
We are just not seeing
Honestly, für beide Teams. Für beide Teams Saya Rakan sehr viel Value.
both Mbessa. It can also be a dive pick, but the ability to lock down.
Silas scheiße hier, ja, ich finde Silas nicht mehr, also Silas into Ari finde ich
What makes it so
nicht mehr so geil, einfach weil das Matchup sehr tough sein kann.
To Ari, and we've seen it. I've seen a lot of the pros playing it in support and top in solo queue, funnily enough, less so in mid. But with the new Imperial mandate changes, the item syncs so well with her, given a cooldown reduction on her ult and W and that vulnerable damage.
HLE sollte Braun bannen, Braun passt null in den, also Braun passt erstmal nicht in das Bild von T1's Comp.
They ban out the Ashe.
Beide Comps wollen rein.
Even though he is a phenomenal Ashe, we've seen a lot of games recently where he's been targeted heavily.
Ich sehe Nautilus und ich sehe Saya Rakan.
Deaths on it, so I feel like with the
Problem ist, dass T1 zuerst pickt.
that could have been the game plan again, but they respect the Ashe Seraphine in this situation regardless.
I think that
Wenn die jetzt hier Saya picken, dann könnten die Rakan wegnehmen und dann kommt ein Nautilus Last Pick.
so that's a little bit scary.
Dann müssen die Rakan plus irgendwas hier spielen. Ich weiß nicht, ob ich das so geil finde.
I think
Kaiser?
should be something
Vielleicht?
that Hanwha Esports should be
Kaiser Saya Trade? Weiß nicht, ob ich das so geil finde.
ability with the Imperial mandate, any scaling
Ich würde wahrscheinlich Saya Rakan
could
rausnehmen.
be the follow-up here to this draft. It could even be Zeri. They're going to ban the Lulu themselves. However, I think it also works well with the Vi.
Oh, es könnte auch Kellis Renata Game sein.
Wild growth.
Actually.
They're the ones, especially with pick priority here, who take it away.
I would have thought maybe like a
Es könnte auch es könnte auch Kellis Renata werden.
an AD carry that we know Guma's very good on and can have
Anstatt dass ein Team Anti-Engager nimmt, das Problem ist
Storm just to remain safe.
Saya Rakan, Nautilus.
And Poppy, I feel like he's kind of making a statement that he's interested in playing it. Into the Rakan, the Poppy would
Ja, Saya Rakan.
answer, but not an option anymore.
Well, Braun macht halt, also, also der kommt halt, der kann nicht hinterherkommen, right? Das ist das Problem.
In this situation.
Also auch in der Theorie, wenn Disengaging vielleicht geil ist, aber der kommt halt nicht hinterher mit heute. Ja. Sie nehmen Saya weg, okay. Ja. Und jetzt kommen wir wahrscheinlich in diesen Rakan für Nautilus Trade. Oder sie spielen Kaiser Nautilus. Kaiser Naut könnten sie auch spielen.
On top of his composition as well is a huge threat.
Best of 3 oder 5-5. Sie nehmen Rakan weg.
Fortune here, though, for Hanwha Esports. It works
Also
well
ich bin jetzt großer Freund von Saya Nautilus.
pick that we've seen Guma and Delight really enjoy to play.
I'm not a huge fan of Misfortune here just because I think you're going to really struggle to ever.
Oder Saya Leona.
And you are
Auch ein guter Call.
even when you have that movement speed.
Auch ein geiler Call, ja.
They end up picking the Rakan first in this situation. Obviously, a champion that Delight has a lot of success on
Ich würde definitiv die Saya wegnehmen. Ich glaube, Saya geben wäre ein Riesenfehler, ja.
and break the pairing up
Ja.
hard.
Und jetzt Nautilus, Leona, auch Renata, hier, kannst du auch slammen. Auch in nicht bad.
I think we all know what it means, and they're gonna play Renata.
Nice.
Oh, I love this pick.
Nice.
Thinking maybe there was
Nice.
like a Callisto Renata.
Richtig gut.
Renata, you have the safety and the ultimate.
Jetzt die Frage, was sie hier slammen. Die können Kaiser, die können MF slammen.
Composition of T1 because T1, their cards are all on the table. This is the dive composition through and through. There's no other way to really play it. Like, yes, you can play through punishing side.
Ja, ich glaube auch, dass Saya neben viel besser wäre. Weil dann bist du gezwungen. Wenn die dann hier Raka nehmen, das ist halt super awkward. Weil dann bekommst du ja den potenziellen Renata Last Pick, right? Sivir. Ich mag die Hanwha kommt mehr, persönlich. Ich mag die Hanwha kommt mehr. Grüßi, Günther.
A spell shield into all of this engagement, but it's not great in Divide. You could just smite the spell shield away on our way in, and you are really making this composition both a dive and engage comp, but also a scaling comp where the Sivir can't follow up with high damage. She needs more time, so you have to use your CC to buy her that time in late game team fights. I think the theme of this draft here for T1 is a little bit broken. I was kind of hoping for like a Jinx pick, because then you have the range for the laning phase, and then you have, if a takedown comes over, obviously great team fighting power, because you have the setup for that successful trap there for the Jinx and that initial kill. Could have done it, but that's not in the realm of LCK meta. We don't see those picks. We don't see those.
Top-Lane ist Job für wen?
Lissandra here is about as niche as it gets, but I think in game one we all kind of felt like the win cons for Hanwha Life Strap are a little bit safer. This strap for me feels almost even worse for T1 because there's just so many outs on Hanwha's side.
Topside Hanwha. Toplane is winning. Matchup Toplane is winning. Oder war es zumindest, ich weiß nicht, ob die Healing Bosses geändert haben. Mit dem Matchup ist okay, aber ja, I mean, 2v2 Skirmish ist nicht unbedingt super geil. Glaube ich nicht, voll Desaster. Wenn ich morgen den 16-Jährigen vom BA treffe, kann ich mir nichts garantieren. Kann sein, dass sie in der Arena mit Substitute spielen müssen. Ist es dieser... irgendwas mit... Siffy? Sissy? Oder sowas?
For T1 versus HLE game number 2.
Hoffen wir, dass er sie versteckt.
All right, game number 2. Game number 1, definitely a bit of a flip fest towards the last 5 or 6 minutes. But this time around, we'll have to wait and see. I feel like, you saw the players come off the stage. Nobody looked shook at all. You know, based on that game, I think a lot of players and a lot of teams already in this bracket have had trouble from behind or after a wonky losing game. You think about Bro against CK, where they almost won game 1 and then they lost it, and then the game was just
also Botlane sollte übrigens einfach Hanwha. Toplane, wie wir es in Erinnerung haben, outsustainst du als Rek'Sai einfach. Erneut, ich weiß nicht, wie viel die Healing Chains gemacht haben. Und dann Mitte sollte even sein. Ich weiß gar nicht, wer da Push bekommt, actually. Ich habe keine Ahnung. Ob Ari das hart forcen kann.
I have to agree. I do think that we're going to see a bit of a tempo heal.
Heal für Push. Smart.
You have both the ability to be the ones who make the first move, make the aggressive play with the Nocturne Lissandra, Khan, with the Ambessa. I mean, there's so many ways to chain CC together. But you also have the scaling element and time buying element that the Sivir provides you. So it feels in some ways a bit of a catch-all. It's just that its theme isn't directly one way or the other. So we'll see how they decide to play it through the mid-game. And if they fall behind, how they're going to just sit back and farm up, because we saw a near comeback from them in game 1 with a good punish. This draft, I think, absolutely can do that again with the tools they have, even if they do fall behind.
I think if I'm T1 in this situation, I think the definite avenue in is that you can really target Kanavi and Light. I mean, they both, I feel like, were pretty consistent in the last game. But Vi in particular always has that pseudo safety of being able to dash out, but if you see Sears, you can't. And I feel like we so often see Renata with Callista, but you don't have that.
Ja, Leute, den Matchup outsustainst du einfach durch deine Passive. Aber it's heavy fighting.
So T1 definitely has that.
Wow.
Be able to set up onto those targets. They're in trouble here.
Er ist tot, by the way.
Going in, gonna
Smart.
force the flash, and there was a lot of trading early on. Generally, this is going to favor the Rek'Sai because you just have insane amounts of sustain. And now that ward very critical.
Double crap is bad.
That Kanavi is in the top side of the map. And here comes Owner up to the top side, maybe trying to get something going here.
Kanavi doesn't know he's
double crap.
So if he wants to try to make a longer-term play here, it could backfire because Owner is in the area, even though he's in early game. Nocturne here, it looks like this is just going to be both junglers retreating. Looks like.
That's nicht die Base, oder?
What we know.
Wait.
Yeah, still
wow.
That's the
wow. Die Patience hätte ich nicht gehabt, by the way.
First blood does go over. And Zeus picks that one up on his top Rex.
Die Patience hätte ich nicht gehabt. Du verlierst es da. Oh. Kann der Light hier verteidigen? Nee, ne? Ist weg.
To get that play, and especially when you know that Doran already doesn't have flash, it's so easy to set up when he approaches that brush.
And there's your enemy jungler is Nocturne. Can't get over walls. He had vision in the river, so there's no way Owner can close the gap fast enough there with where he was and where Doran was to actually impact the play. There was no way there could be a Nocturne nearby. So he waits, he calculates, I know exactly how much damage we need.
Du wärst auch nicht 500. Ja, okay, das stimmt auch. Ich wäre auch nicht Top-Lane.
He already lost his flash.
Ja, aber Stubble ist crappt. Aber die Botlane-Crap ist super spät, super spät gestorben. Also der Respawn wird delayed sein.
We can see already Kanavi is down 2 camps. So Ona, who is happy just farming towards his level 6, will be a little bit ahead in terms of pace of that. Although Kanavi did get XP from that kill, so he's keeping up in terms of levels for the time being.
Yeah, still a nice little start there for Kanavi. We've seen that Faker's gone back a couple of times. Zeka trying to hold the weight.
Also was der mechanisch auch letztes Game in Lane abgezogen hat, ist crazy.
Of these early trades. Now, where the Lissandra really shines against the Ahri is eventually, you know, Ahri's trying to dash around a bunch and you press R on her. Or you are yourself, as that's going to be the root. Faker not yet level 6.
Wow.
From Zeka sets it up.
Let's go.
Kanavi locks it down.
What a moment there from Zeka. Just completely takes Faker out with the flash charm there. And Kanavi was able to scoop up.
Das war
hardly necessary.
Fucking insane.
But they still get the assist gold over to Zeka. Now T1 trying to make a cross map here, but Owner still doesn't have 6.
Es wäre Upgrade Smite gewesen, das ist das Problem. Warte mal. Hä? Hä? Er ist tot, by the way. Er ist tot. Mann, der totale Kollaps.
He flipped it
Okay.
on minis.
Ruhe.
Kanavi gets 6 first as a result, and he just dies.
I think because Kanavi spent so long in the brush, maybe got XP from that, and I think Ono might have miscalculated.
Kurzes Zwischenbild.
Replay of that play mid. So level 6 is hit, and Faker's mind, he's like, I just have to flash the charm.
Kurzes Zwischenbild aus Counter-Strike.
Flash catches him off guard. Can't react in time, and Zeka gets kill. Yeah, I assume Ona must have miscalculated and thought Kanavi wasn't because he steps up here full of confidence, and immediately the play goes wrong.
I think even if Kanavi stays level 5, he probably still
Hey.
dies.
The Nocturne ultimate isn't going to offer you anything in this situation, not really. Not without help. So that was just a weird judgment there from Owner.
Ja, ich hab's mir aussprechen schon gedacht, Lasse. Deswegen bin ich nicht weiter drauf eingegangen. Ja, okay, das ist natürlich dann dementsprechend das, was du zahlst, right? Klar. Das kann Upgrade Smite, das heißt, du wirst das Camp verlieren. Yep.
What are we really gaining?
Yeah. So that's going to be the entire top side of the map here for HLE ahead. I mean, the Rek'Sai is ahead. We know.
Ja, besser, ganz falsch. Ja, das Problem ist, dass die Antworten von Hanwha, also Lissandra an sich ist ganz nice. Problem ist, die Antworten von Hanwha gegen den Hard Engage von T1 sind sehr geil. Renata Ulti, Saya Ulti. Also die Botlane ist ziemlich geil gegen die T1 Comp. Aber ja, ein Zeus kann auf jeden Fall sterben. Ein Kanavi kann auf jeden Fall sterben. Ein Zeka kann auf jeden Fall sterben. Also sie haben Möglichkeiten auf jeden Fall, ja. Oh wow. Schlaganfall. Geil runtergejagt, ja, super.
It's already a lot of desperation out of T1 in this game. Even though it's still early days, and they have this Sivir to fall back on. You know, I think in this moment, probably...
Wir können auch gefährlich werden. Ich sage es, also Hanwha, ich glaube, wie es funktionieren sollte, ist, Hanwha wird engagen und T1 muss dann versuchen, den Disengage zu gewinnen. So würde ich die Comps einschätzen. Relativ scary, ne? Also er hat gute Vision, aber er hat Double Thumbs Up. Ist nicht so scary.
That can change very quickly with, like you mentioned, the Rek'Sai, and also the fact that from behind, the damage isn't there to burst anybody they engage on, you know, until the Sivir is a larger threat, or if Doran is ahead, which he's not, you know, he could be some of that follow-up damage, but they just don't have it right now. So he wanted to be very cautious about continuing to try to Hail Mary their way back to this early game. We have
13 Minuten TP, by the way, was?
But he has Ghost.
Hä?
Presses Ghost and walks
Hä?
away.
I will
not going
say,
to work.
we've hit that point of the top lane matchup where Doran hit level 6 and killed his ultimate, so he gets a ton of free healing. And
Entschuldigung, was?
now the matchup feels way better. It's one of the benefits of being those
2 Plates Mitte weg, by the way.
just for leveling
Just like that.
ultimate ability.
He also got Executioner's Calling, of course, which helps a lot in this matchup.
I mean, that definitely does. But yeah, I think Ambessa, especially because they buffed the healing recently, it's pretty insane the spike you just get from level 6.
We're going to make a play here.
Wow.
Immediately
Wow. Wow.
There, and now Owner has to flash away.
Nee, mach nicht.
Kill range.
Well played.
Zeka was calculating the
Well played.
numbers in that moment, but not going to be enough, especially with Faker there with his ult. But yeah,
Schön.
the first paranoia.
Also.
And so far, the Nocturne falling very flat.
Also.
In the game.
And they are grasping at a
Wir halten mal die Fresse, aber das ist sehr suspicious hier.
straws in this one.
I think this is kind of highlighting there's not great lanes to pop those ultimates on.
Ja, genau. Also Tools, ja.
Posted away, still had flash, still had ult. Go for the play mid, it's onto an Ahri. As long as Zeka is responsive in time, you just need to be so snappy on the ultimate to catch him out, and he's just able to disengage. Definitely feeling already, this early in the game, as you said, T1 feeling a bit desperate with trying to make these plays happen. I mean, they have the engage tools, they should be using them, but the execution just hasn't quite been there as of yet.
Keria here, he has level 6, but really tough to try to get onto Isaiah, who has flash and ult.
Das Problem, Matchup, du wirst da Push bekommen und du wirst da eventually Plates bekommen.
I think you're gonna have to.
Ja, Titanic Hydra auch fertig. Er ist so stark.
Targets, you can definitely find punishes with this comp for T1, but players who
Wenn wir hier von rechter Top nie verstehen, du gewinnst halt diese Matchups. Und später hast du halt super viel Side and Pressure. Und wenn du ahead genug bist, kannst du auch in Teamfights Terror machen.
From Jonas Strong. At the end of the day, Owner doesn't have flash, doesn't have paranoia, so not really going to amount to much, especially with the light there as well.
Also with Infernal into Hextech, two of our big budget souls.
Trade mittlerweile even, das war mir jetzt.
Those two dragons, sorry, coming in phase 2.
Lissandra ein Valid Pick, ja.
Good chance it might
Kannst du spielen gegen Ari?
most impact.
Wie Geld Lissandra versus Ari.
could be somewhere. The last game is
Was?
Navi is here, but there's not a great angle for him to utilize. This wave is going to get cleared. A little bit early for this prio for the dragon, as it's not spawning.
Ich glaube, wenn du hart in den Lissandra rein engaged, ist natürlich super nice für sie.
See if he can find a counter gank here, but so much of his jungle is being taken.
Ari auf Sideline gefällt mir aber persönlich ein wenig mehr.
And there's no teleport.
Aber im Vakuum für das 2v2 ist natürlich Lissandra sehr geil. Also Lissandra ist super geil gegen das 2v2 bei Ari.
To do this, he's very close now to farm with Owner.
They want to make the Valyari work once again, or at least try to get some kind of summoner out of Faker.
Frag mich, ob sie den Drake fighten werden. Ich denke, Guma Yushi wird hier nochmal basen, dann Essence überholen.
You know, he kind of got outplayed earlier on with the crazy play
Was?
from Zeka. But still going to be good as they're looking for the pick here on a Kanavi. The charm comes down, but that is
Granate Ulti.
his target. They're going all in to try to take out Kanavi. It's taking quite a while through the
Wait.
Kanavi.
Wait.
Bail out before
I mean, der Fight ist...
you get the kill. But it
Das ist decent.
who pays his life for that one. Zeka
Oh.
in a bit of trouble here himself. Gets ulted down. Doran
Okay.
with the follow-up, and they do knock down and take out Zeka.
Du vorne bekommst Botlane eine Menge, Toplane eine Menge Gold.
Answered here in the top lane with Doran's teleport, and it looks like first brick.
Das sind alle Ults raus, für alle Ultis mit Ausnahme von der Saya-Ulti für den Drake-Fight raus, by the way.
To HLE, they can buy enough space for Zeus to get the majority of this turret.
Und die haben jetzt gleich Zeus TP ab. Also ich glaube, das ist Drake für Hanwha.
On the other side.
Das sollte Drake für Hanwha sein hier.
Play aggressively from Keria.
Ja, Zeus ist so stark jetzt.
To get that kill, they get the follow-up there with Doran joining with all that linked up CC. Area. Okay, it's gonna be fine. We do have the dragon spawn now.
Yeah, a lot of ults on cooldowns and
Die P von Zeus als muss Fight-Winning sein für Hanwha. Und Drake auch sein.
fight, so
Ja.
T1 just seemed not to be interested with quickness, paranoia, with the glacial tomb down. I think that makes
XP-technisch ist jetzt gerade noch fein für Kanavi, aber der verliert jetzt wieder seinen Topside-Camps. Also müssen wir ein bisschen drauf achten, ne?
soul, which, you know, last game we kind of talked about the sustain. There is champions like the Ambessa and the Rek'Sai who in the longer fights will get a benefit, but with how explosive these comps are, this just feels like a non-factor.
He's gonna get shook as finally the charm comes out and, you know, just running to so many bits of CC, you only have one spell shield.
I mean, I get the idea of.
Und die haben noch immer TP-Advantage jetzt für den Herald außerdem.
More DPS, but
Lecker.
there wasn't anybody else nearby, so very bizarre. This is back to the earlier play where Keria is able to set up the Nocturnal. They get the charm here, pays able to do a lot of the damage. He does end up getting caught himself here forward, but because they can commit this into a further play on the Zekka, you'll see the TP come through from Doran. They know Zekka's so deep here that they have the CC with Faker.
I mean, der Play ist gut, ne? Flash-Ulti. Ich hab da persönlich keinen Kill mehr gesehen, aber
That was pretty successful, but here
guter Zugriff.
you've got a Nocturne nearby, but that's all you got. Right? It feels again like another really forced play here
Ja,
from T1.
großer Quatsch, da reinzugehen.
The play is for from Pei specifically, just kind of walking up and auto-attacking Zekka, but not too much value.
Yeah, he doesn't get punished at all if it's only Zekka, and I saw that.
Morgen aus dem 8 Uhr LCK. Morgen und übermorgen, Samstag, Sonntag. Die 2 Final Best of Fives sind um 8 Uhr morgens. 11 Uhr dann LPL. Wo warst du heute um 4 Uhr? Natürlich von meinem Fernseher. Wer würde sich denn Südkorea, Tschechien entgehen lassen?
Yeah.
So,
Not worth.
not with.
Hashtag.
Hallo Marv.
Still has the only gold lead here for T1, as Deus maybe collapsed on.
Now we got the paranoia coming in and a bunch of damage already.
Ist tot, oder? Oh, TP raus.
Staying out of this, although you can go through many tunnels. As now we got a TP coming in.
Wow. Wow.
By the wow.
Harvis Chinny Chin Chin Valdez.
Exactly.
Oh.
I was stuck in between.
Und jetzt bekommst du Herald, deswegen, das ist gestört.
We were able to cover.
Die müssen schnell sein, weil TP von Doran gleich wieder ab ist.
For T1, they committed so much. Baker's a little bit late, and now Doran's going to get some constellation plate value on the bottom side, but the Herald will go over.
Und geben nicht mit der Prior ab, sehr gut.
Triple grubs again in this second game.
And T1 just keep making these attempts, these proactive plays, and it's just the targets on the other side are so hard to pin down. I mean, they committed
Diese scheiß Eule.
position
Seit 1,5 Stunden, die rum. Hält's Maul.
and playing into a Rek'Sai.
Ehrlich.
It
Wie
feels like
kann man so laut sein?
low Zeus gets, but then taking the second tunnel and immediately going for the TP, and the damage just isn't quite there
Wow.
from Ona on the other side.
Eulen sind doch cool. Ja, wenn sie mal die Fresse halten würde, wäre sie cool.
He is not happy with that, as we are going very deep in mid lane. What and
Okay, das ist Winning, oder? Oh mein Gott, war eine 5-Mann Renata-Ulti, by the way.
the value for Delight. But yeah, this time it's kind of forced from the side of HLE. Looks like they're gonna get away with it.
Das ist eine Taube, nur weil es bei euch nicht so schön ist und es Eulen gibt, müsst ihr nicht allen das Leben schlecht reden. Es ist wahrscheinlich eine Taube. Aber wie soll ich ficken?
So there isn't a great target to punish when you do commit this heavily. If you get the turret, you feel fairly safe. Kanavi, I don't think needed to force this, but it does guarantee them the turret.
Doch, 5-Mann Renata-Ulti, by the way. Lecker.
And didn't really have a choice, so we have to go deeper. I think HLE did a good job of translating the play, but it kind of shows that
Und Guman nochmal untouched.
where if you get CC chained, your usual safety of just dashing out doesn't work anymore. And Kanavi goes, oh, I guess I just have to ult in the tower and nothing can be done about this situation.
Oh well.
Classic Kanavi. That's what
2 Items fertig bei Guma jetzt auch.
Any excuse.
Lane Assignment? Fragezeichen für mich.
To enjoy that one. He's still
Ich glaube nicht, dass die Lysandra jemals die Rek'Sai töten kann.
after the way that the early game.
Und I guess Zekka kommt immer raus.
And you know, this isn't a backbreaking lead. This is still playable for the side of T1 as now they're trying to dive on to Zeus once again.
Ulti gut, aber jetzt geviert.
But he's gonna ult into 3
Oh mein Gott.
and immediately just get feared down and taken out. So Faker will
Botlane-Schild ist dafür weg.
That was pretty close, but I like how they dragged him outside of the tower and made sure that when the ult came out, he was clear of it, because I thought that could have been a situation where Zeus escaped, but a good punish.
Ja, net Positive Play natürlich für Hanwha.
We've seen so many attempts this game.
Sie Final Gold auf Pace, das ist relativ schlau.
They are getting some hits now.
Now there's going to be a turret in exchange, but it's a turret for turret plus the kill onto Zeus. We're out of first brick territory, so the fact that HL get it first doesn't necessarily matter. I like that they're giving Pace the money, though.
Ja.
Pace needs the money. He needs to be the scaling. Like
Der ist 800 Gold, das ist krank, oder nicht?
well too, and it's Gumazaya. So we're all very horrified of that, but this wave clear that the Sivir can provide is going to be so helpful for objective setups later on. Speaking of, do have Hanwha Life
Willst du den Wort da nicht klären im Pit?
first. Faker no ult, but it is coming up fairly soon. But I think Hanwha should have this
Okay,
one
that's free.
unlocked. Hayes coming over though. I think they have enough damage to rush this down and get out.
Yeah, no paranoia and
Beim State der Playoffs sind wir hier gerade. Das ist Upper Bracket Finale. Also Playoffs gibt es ja nicht wirklich.
so much for T1 about.
Aber das ist quasi Upper Bracket Finale.
He might get caught out here.
Wow, das... Warte, was? War mal gejumpt?
It's gonna be the spell shield taken out.
Er ist tot.
Spirit rush.
By the way, der ist tot. Lol.
There's no real reason for me to try to flash.
Gewinner ist bei MSI, Verlierer spielt am Sonntag gegen den Gewinner von Genji vs. KT, was morgen um 8 Uhr ist. Für den zweiten MSI-Seed. Wie zur Hölle hat der Charm da gehittet? Hat der W das Spellshield geprockt?
Carrier will also need to leave this CD.
Celestial Opposition, by the way, verrückt, wie viel Damage das blockt.
No teammates were nearby. Unlike esports,
Verrückt. Best of 5. Alles ist Best of 5 dieses Wochenende.
With some of the overextensions, maybe a trap could be set here, but I don't think T1 have enough members.
Hey.
They're gonna throw an
Hey.
ult into Kanavi. I mean, on the Vi, with the escape, there's really no.
LOL. LOL.
Does come in the hostile takeover right in the choke though, and now HLE on the board here as the TP does come in from Zay.
Auch Rio Masters. Nee, heute ist letzter Best of 3 Tag bei EMEA actually. Ab morgen ist Full Best of 5.
It's very easy with this composition just to go all in and not have a backup plan.
Ja, Problem ist, jetzt haben sie wieder TP Advantage auf Top.
We'll be fighting for a while here in this game state. Only a 1.5 thousand gold here for HLE.
Ja, schwierig.
Have been the ones who have been able to catch T1. They have the kill lead in this game. It's still a very close one, and even though T1 were able to get a lot of resources out of HLE there, I don't think there's an easy punish objective right now for them to utilize at the moment.
Rocket Blade second auf Lissandra. Rocket Blade second auf Zeka.
That's where a lot of the Vision War has been as of late. For T1 still just
So ein bisschen Duel auf drittes Item, ne? Gumayushi hat keine Boots upgraded, das heißt, er ist im Endeffekt nur 200 Gold down. Aber er ist in Kall auch down.
Park in mid, clear these waves and get all the money he can find on the Rift.
Really all that's going on in this game with the 280 carries just sitting mid.
I don't think Faker does any damage to Zay, like actually.
Yeah. Mostly just negative damage.
So, die Frage ist, wie enabled sich Zeus jetzt auf die Map? Weil er hat nämlich kein TP. Das heißt, er muss theoretisch immer eine Wave... Also, jetzt ist die Frage, greedet er für eine Wave extra oder moved er quasi eine Wave zu früh? Mal sehen. Ganz interessant.
Regardless, with multiple members, if they're going to be able to take him down again. He's definitely been kind of the butt of many a gank, but hasn't always been successful. As now
haben die Damage für den?
Turn.
Nee, ne?
Our poor top laners.
I'd like to see for the rest of this game. I don't mean.
Pass auf Madeira, tolle.
But T1 using their
Tolle ist auf Madeira.
tools defensively to peel for pays, so that they can just cut through those.
Warte, Carry-Moment? Nee.
Not trying to necessarily look for backline play.
Dachte, der ist noch bei dir im Kofferraum? Nee, heute habe ich ihn freigelassen.
Counter engage.
Ich will ja auch, dass er den Downfall miterlebt. Hoffentlich.
Not to mention they have their own defensive Renata ultimate. I think T1 need to change their tune a little bit here and just play through front to back with this composition, especially with the lead that HLE have right now in this game. Gold is small, but the control over the map is pretty immaculate here.
Ja, alles, was so ein neutrales Territorium ist, gehört irgendwie Hanwha, ne? Also auch Botside, wenn ihr die Wards anschaut. Das ist richtig geile Vision hier, die drei. Und dann haben sie noch die komplette neutrale Vision im Towside River. Mapstate ist schon sehr Hanwha-favored. Erneut, wir machen jetzt, es ist hier Duel für AI oder Mortal Reminder. Mortal Reminder, warte mal. Wow, Mortal Reminder ist crazy. Eagle, danke fürs ganze Jahr. Was habe ich gemeint verpasst? Relativ geiles Game von Hanwha bis zur Shitshow. Ja, ab Shitshow nicht mehr. Oh, wow, er hat nur... Okay, wir bekommen auf jeden Fall AI zuerst, weil er wird nicht für Mortal Reminder gehen. Interessant.
Aggressive dive happen and try to catch HLE members.
Aha.
What will likely happen, or what has continued?
Das heißt, Gumayushi wird outspiken.
More members than you thought. They will turn and they will turn it around on you and then take an objective. We're looking for potentially soul point here for HLE in 30 seconds time if they're going to fight for this dragon. You see Doran back and Carrier TPing back in as Faker looks for an angle.
Trying to get Guma here. He's just immediately going to get Mikhails. So. As long as the light stands next to the zone, you don't even get his flash.
Was brauchst du sonst, Mikhail, so wirklich? I mean, theoretisch, wenn er nochmal reingeht mit W, das maybe, aber okay. Und er hat gerade geemotet, ja genau, der hat legit Thumbs up gemacht. Hab ich noch nie gesehen. Charm? Achso, ja, Rakan Ulti, I guess, aber da muss halt immer eine Renata W kommen, ne? Also, Position hier finde ich besser für Hanwha. Mal sehen. Beide Top-Laner TPen rein. Drake ist weg, oder? Ja.
into this one is the Rek'Sai, as now they're looking for the
Schöner Play, Mann. Und er hat keinen Seekers, by the way. Wow, die punishen gut.
and the charm.
Das ist richtig stark, ey. Nächster Charm kommt.
Looking for a bit more. Zeka trying to get those. Oh, max range charm is going to come in, but that is onto a Rek'Sai.
Max Win.
Down the Lysandra, they get the dragon. But look at where they're going. They're
kein
heading
Nash.
towards the Baron.
Kein
we
Nash.
used 2 ultimates to get that kill, and so there's still ways to lock
Well
things
played.
down if T1 want to challenge, but I think it's pretty risky to try to start Baron here now as HLE.
Yeah.
They'll just be happy with the gold they got and the dragon that comes into.
I think into a Sivir, into the Ambessa, and the fact that Lysandra has TP.
Das Rad hat bestimmt dasselbe.
Risky, but here, Faker
Schön. Zeka hat ein richtig krasses Game, by the way. Ein richtig, richtig krasses Ari-Game bisher.
to sell full, although I think if you sell full there, you're just dead anyway. But a great pick from Zeka, who's been on fire on this Ari, despite it being typically a counter matchup.
Baker's put himself in harm's way a little bit as his vision toggle always nervous.
Saw them for a moment in the jungle before they toggled the vision. We have Ahri and Vi making their way down here as even a spare rush into the brush. They want to make sure that Doran cannot TP out of this one as he tries to go for the public execution.
Zeka spielt ein Bomben-Game, ohne Spaß. Ein Bomben-Bomben-Game.
The pockets of Kanavi.
And there's no cross map target for T1 to even hit. Look at where Zeus is. He's just hanging out in the mid trio. There's no outer turret, so it's not like T1 could push a turret here. He's just going to be able to go up and catch the wave. This is a zero-sum game for T1 right now. They lose something on the other side of the map from where their focus is, and they gain nothing. They can't start Baron. And again, we're just kind of try to hard farm his way to that IE.
Doran sieht irgendwie verloren aus. Ich glaube, die haben einfach sehr... Wow, für ein Ulti. Ich glaube, die haben einfach sehr limitierte Tools. Oder, die haben die Tools, aber sie haben sehr limitierte Optionen, was sie mit den Tools machen wollen.
But I feel like this is them trading resources. So they use Glacial Tomb to get the kills. They use Paranoia to get the Stay Cool. The problem is, this still, I think HLE are fine with this. They still have other tools. They still have Flash and Gumiishi. They now
Ja, und sie outspiken halt, also, ne, das frühe AI ist halt so viel wert hier. Wirklich so viel wert. Jetzt müsste er auch Circus fertig haben.
But in practice, HLE are still the ones with control, and you're not burning cooldowns with long enough off a cooldown to really make an impact.
Yeah, also the timing. I'm not really sure how they're going to force a fight at this moment because neither team really has Baron pressure.
Ja, sie haben jetzt theoretisch einen Timer. Frage ist nur, was machen sie mit dem Timer, weil die Ulti sind 40 Sekunden wieder ab. Also das ist so ein 25 Sekunden Timer circa mit der Nocturne-Ulti. Renata in seiner Spot. Deswegen war der Rakan-Pick auf 4 so troll, oder nicht? Rakan-Pick, Entschuldigung. Der Rakan-Pick auf 4 war so troll statt Saya. Zeka gerade besser als die Kamera. Nein. Joey. Das müsste fertiges AI jetzt sein bei Pace. Noch immer kein Seekers bei Faker außerdem.
And T1 are going to have to be ready. There's the Infinity Edge for Pays now, the critical juncture
for Faker. So the spikes on both sides and both of them kind of posturing. HLE trying to get a
Level 11 auf Renata ist auch richtig geil. Actually super huge Level 11.
And this time, I mean, you're gonna have follow-up. Guma just...
Das fühlt sich so, es fühlt sich so forced an. Wow.
The bottom side is Zeka, but now Guma frontlining is immediately charmed, flushes away. The bailout is there, but he does not get the reset. 2 kills goes the way of Pays, and 1 overextension. Immediately Pays will put you in the grave. Delight goes down. That is the quadra kill.
Warte, die finishen, ne?
They're looking to push mid.
And it's still 30 seconds.
Nee, die finishen nicht. Nee, die finishen nicht.
End the game off of this one, but they certainly should be able to get a turret and Baron at least. And the Baron
Entschuldigung, was?
so much more here. Massive gold swing goes to T1. And Guma initially with the sidestep, you're like, okay, he doesn't need Mikhail.
Wie ist dieser Fight losing?
Because he's just gonna dodge this. And then he just walks straight in. Like to a Rakan. He just wanted to visit carry his old bot later, but the follow-up CC is there. It's too sticky. I like Kanavi's attempt to try.
Was ist das für ein Major Schlaganfall, by the way?
A complete collapse here for HLE. Into this Sivir. that is just gonna ricochet you to death.
Yeah, Pays was perfect in this fight. Just constantly getting
AI fertig.
the ricochets between Gumushi and Delight, who was trying to peel for him, and then just stepped up at the right time. Free
Was?
for the whole fight.
Uh-oh.
Keep becoming
Animal. Er ist tot, by the way.
We have seen in the last couple of weeks.
Oh.
Okay. It is a Rek'Sai though, and they're going to be looking for the Ocean Soul. So T1 have to actually pull off of that.
Renata holt ihn 5 Sekunden wieder ab.
Ocean Drake.
Refrigerator, danke für den dritten. Ne?
On the objective, T1 waiting in the brush. There it is. The charm gonna catch two, and immediately down goes Guma. And the follow-up is
Renata W, by the way, nicht benutzt.
Kanavi as well. HLE just not respecting the engaged potential.
Disgusting.
Multiple times in a row.
Disgusting.
As Delight should be okay, but that's going to be the Drake, and T1 are exploding in this gold lead.
2 fights in a row. It's Carrier who finds Guma, Rakan who finds Zaya, and T1 who are finding success in this game. A 6,000 goal lead now in a game which for so much of it they were behind. Now looking for more.
Yeah, nice timing there.
Oh, wait.
I'm not sure if they should really be going
Wait.
in for this kind of play, but Pays is so powerful.
Oh mein Gott, ist der OP. What in the fuck?
As the bailout not going to help out either, and T1 are just compounding their gold. Mistake after mistake, engage after engage. They keep baiting HLE into these fights.
They're desyncing the death timers here. Now Guma's back, but there's no Zeus, and they can easily retreat here with the inhibitor down. And Keria, with the Pays ultimate that comes up in this fight, are able to both set up this engage here for Keria, but then follow up so easily. And Guma does not have
Scheiße.
tools to escape. Again is burst down. And it's these snap calls from Keria that have brought them back. It's moments like these, which is why we said earlier, Keria does often feel like the main character for this roster, sitting at 100% kill participation here in this second game. And even though this looks like it might be going a little bit too deep, Pays has GA. He has so much damage, and there's no follow-up, there's no damage. The Rek'Sai is a big health bar, but eventually it'll be taken out. Guma respawns.
Ja, jetzt ist Damage wieder suspicious, ne?
Reminds me of original Rakan.
Super sus.
No delay.
Damage technisch fehlt jetzt.
Using your other abilities. How little you could respond to it. And Carrier just camping in the brush that they had control warded, so he gets to essentially play original Rakan when he shows up after channeling the ult beforehand. Such an effective tool, able to catch out any carry who has that ultimate that grants so much safety. And now a 9,000 gold lead. GA on Pays, he's such a hard target to deal with.
Yeah, now they can just use the paranoia, not for diving the Xayah, not for trading ultimate cooldowns, just for zoning, as they will be able to pick up this top inhibitor, no doubt. Zeka, you know, he's trying to look for something. I think the window is kind of past here for HLE, especially down this much gold, obviously, but the Sivir's online, and you don't have any pressure to try to catch her. There's just way too many peel tools. Pays is playing Sivir in the first place. You're never going to be in a spot where you can actually kill him and then go on to win the team fight. You'll just go way too deep.
We can talk about team gold though we won, but look at the 80 carry gold difference. That is just insane.
And it happened in what felt like an instant, right? The gold lead was biggest for Pays in the early game, but it shrunk down to like 380, something like that, I think at its smallest. And then he picks up a Quadra, is unlocked on the map. They get all these structures. He gets funneled even more gold. Now he buys an arm guard. He's like, look, if I die, my team has no damage, but I'm not gonna die.
Ja, das Game ist komplett unplayable.
An arm guard, I don't care. It's like old stopwatch days, except way more expensive.
Don't remind me,
I think also this is really signaling they think this next fight is just going to be game over. And at this point,
it will be.
I think it will too.
And it's just small pushes. Kanavi thinks he can get his jungle.
He should be okay. He reads the pressure, but yeah, it's just so crazy. I talked about it in game one where it's like HLE, you make one mistake, T1 threaten a game victory. Same thing here, but it doesn't look like T1 are going to, you know, let go of the comeback. They've gotten this one, and it's more than a comeback now. I mean, they're just super far ahead. And HLE playing RE5 from this position, not really enviable.
I mean, if they get this third inhibitor, which it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get, but if they were able to get the third inhibitor, they could just say, well, we'll do Baron, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can TP to end with double super minions going down the waves. And then if you get Baron with 3 inhibitors, you just win the game. If they want to try to threaten some sort of Ocean Soul, you just trade the objectives because they're synced up in spawn timer here, albeit about 7 seconds the difference between these two. But because they have the Sivir wave clear as well to constantly gain prio plus double inhibitor,
Ja, die haben kein Damage.
whatever they want on this map right now. And I don't think that HLE could be the ones who are proactive to make a play. It's got to be like a great Delight ult used defensively, or Guma gets some crazy feathers pull back, or Zeka's able to find an angle after Spell Shield is down for Pace. Some sort of miracle here is what HLE need. And this isn't it.
Oh no.
Schlaganfall.
Not like this. Well, looks like it'll be exactly like that, actually. Down it goes. They're going very deep. The angle here from
So ein Schlaganfall.
is able to bully his former
Ja, GG.
carry in the bush. The follow-up.
Unreal.
Execution onto Delight. As now they're trying to take out Alessandra. Not a great spot here. Already a triple for Pays, as there is still the potential for a penta, but I don't think he's even thinking about that at that point. As you can see,
So ein Schlaganfall.
give it to him either. T1 just looking to push down mid and end this game in their favor. As they are going to flash on a carrier. They do get the kill, but T1 do not care at all about that. Just trying to stop the backs here and end this game.
Yeah, Pays will just push down the Nexus at this point. T1, game 1 was close with their comeback. Game 2, their comeback is enough. And the series will be equalized.
What the fuck?
Carrier keeps his 15 out of 15, 100%
Okay.
kill participation on the Rakan.
So ein Schlaganfall von Gumayushi, ich verstehe es nicht.
Game around through some miracle catches that catch onto Guma after
Unreal.
sidestep onto Doran's ult. Felt like the first domino, and everything just fell apart from there. And it's 2 games in a row where Hanwha Life Esports had massive control and T1 had a big sweeping comeback. They couldn't stick the landing in game 1, but in game 2 they do. And now you start to wonder, if you're a Hanwha fan, we were so close to being 0-2 in this situation. Sure, we're 1-1, but it's a worrying, dangerous trend how these games are looking.
But also, when I look at these 2 games, both of them are being decided by picks, by snap engages, by supports, not on enchanters that we've seen so much. But this game of Rakan, last game of Camille, feels like both Carrier and Delight seeing angles to carry in this series. And we all know Carrier loves to carry when he's in the support role.
The difference in 80 carry damage here is so insane, because with Guma, he had a deficit, but when his team had a lead, they weren't fighting. And then all of a sudden, Pays is getting a quadra kill. He's fighting all the time.
Yeah, well, that's how they got that lead. Overstepping just a bit too much there in the mid lane, HLE, and immediately T1 clamp down and punish. They balloon into a massive gold lead and take
Major Schlaganfall.
to tie up the series, which is now on our hands, 1-1 as we head into the break.
Ja, fand den Draft echt, ja. Ja. Also. Das ist ein Bummer, das zu verlieren, ne? Das ist ein massiver Bummer. Massiver Bummer. Sieht gar nicht gut aus, wenn da steht 1-1.
아이고 이거. 나한테 화이 도플. 가라. 나한테 공 있다. 나한테 공. 괜찮아. 위에 봐봐. 안 빼고. 위에. 나 가있어. 위에 봐줘. 위에 좋은데. 펜타네. 예, 알겠어. 펜타래. 펜타 확인. 밑으로 가자 일단. 타이건 내가 봐줄게. 일단 펜타기네 그러면 와봐. 야 진짜로? 야 와봐. 수환아 와봐. 나 아리 잡자. 아씨. 할게. 아 예? 미드가. 끝났어. 엑셀 잡으면 내가 여기 양념.
So eine Scheiße.
잡을게. sol깃 하자. 펜타 안 돼? 안 돼 더 하긴. 아 살리기 해줘. 야 잡자. 내가 죽을 것 같은데? 끝낼게요 그냥. 아 진짜로? 나 왔거든. 본진 끝나? 보도기만 해줘. 끝났어. 본진 끝나. 나이스. 어떻게 이겼냐? 너가 잘했어. 나 있다. 다행이다.
So. Wir schauen uns jetzt das Video von Undaf als Kameramann. Also, toll. Toll.
There's so many things that you
So, wie machen wir's?
winning this one best of 5. But
Wieder First Pick.
it's chopped down to a best of 3 with
Wieder First Pick für Hanwha. Okay.
And I think the pressure really is on HLE with how both games have started with them being in a really strong position, then kind of thrown away. And as much as they salvaged game 1, game 2 wasn't that. And also next stuff last year, a road to MSI, and HLE just trying to make it to their first. So Ban's going to come in quick and fast here.
Ist der Elber-Patch noch, ja.
HLE again on the first pick side, so going for the same bans.
Maybe a Gnar ban again.
Could
or
just be
T1.
if we're going to have the same bans as the previous game.
Definitely have to go in a very different direction with the first pick, if that is going to be the case. It is. Last time we had the Vi. This time, Kanavi looking for Lee Sin, a very high priority jungle right now. Be taken right away with
8.915.
a lot of different bottom duos here for T1.
Nautilus ist offen.
Also,
Ash Seraphine.
in terms of
Aber Lee Sin ist ein guter Pick.
see Lee Sin paired with Ryze or Annie. Ryze obviously already taken away by Fearless. I wonder if T1 seeks to deny
Also ich mal Sekka macht einen Schlaganfall von Gumayushi. Harter Schlaganfall.
chance for HLE to secure it. They're immediately going to
Gut geschlafen? Yes. Guten Morgen, Rico.
a pick that since the Cyclo Sword introduction has really rocketed in terms of price.
Ja, Matchup ist okay für den Fury, aber also super Snowbally.
Are going to take away that Annie that we see paired with Lee Sin so often.
Yeah, or do something completely different and take like an early Lulu that we've seen paired with Nefiri sometimes. Try to set up that combo with a scaling 80.
Ist ja OP, Lee Sin.
Could be an alternative. The Annie feels like it's a glaring, obvious choice here and very safe. But with no
Die traden gegen Nah.
and no Vayne,
Ah, Nah ist gebannt.
the Renekton stocks are also
Boah, gehen wir Gesandte? Wir gehen kein Gesandte. Ein ordentlich schlecht an sich, to
pretty
be honest.
interesting. I like where you guys were going with the Annie or the Lulu, but just once again trying to get some top picks for Doran. Obviously, some tanks still available,
That
but
makes
if you
sense.
force Zeus onto a tank,
Top laner, so he would have top picks.
Cassiopeia was left open, by the way. Guys.
Oh.
top picks.
Warte mal.
Mid lane. That's a high tier one.
Das ist ein ziemlich OP-Pick gegen die zwei.
And we are looking like we're gonna lock our solo lanes, our top half, in this first phase again here.
Nein.
Set is not a pick we have seen in a very.
Aus einem guten Grund Gesandte.
That's not a champ in the LCK.
Oh.
That's not a champ in the LCK either.
Oh.
We got at least 2 spacers who are very excited to see it.
Wenn wir Lia schon rausnehmen, ist die rausnehmen. Der Champion ist halt sehr stark, ne? Wir lief Game 2 hat der Arzttermin sehr gut für Hanwha und dann gab es einen random Schlaganfall von Gumayushi und dann war es Game Lost innerhalb von 3 Minuten.
Doesn't inspire the most joy, but I think the theory here is into the Fury and Renekton has a lot of value. That Miasma are going to be incredibly powerful. And I also feel like the Miasma would do pretty well into Silas as well. They end up going for the Galio. I just feel like the value of the Shen Cassiopeia is kind of going up and up into triple melee already.
I don't like this Galio pick because I think
Agreed.
You need
Bin den Drop
a specific
Drop ganz schlimm. Bisher von T1.
by Galio in order to make this
Mal
pick
sehen.
that's so low damage worth it. And because we're doing this right before the second banning phase, I think
MF Nautilus könnten die gehen.
these are going to be removed.
No,
And now you
dankeschön.
have to worry about like Mel Shen, you know, in the bottom lane as a potential duo that you'll be running into. So
Senna
banning
ban.
Senna here initially, as Guma's been one of the only players
MF?
to play it
Prima.
here in Korea.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the Senna, but Senna Shen is definitely a combo that we could see.
Feels
So
like-
really giving credence to that Shen to be bought.
Feels like last game, T1 heavily committed to like dive in their first 3 picks.
Ist im Endeffekt nicht schlechter, aber das Spiel ist Kaden ist offen, Kaden ist auch offen. Mel raus.
You know, diving.
Oh, Ash Seraphine?
Picks.
Oh, Ash Seraphine.
The
Wait.
fact they have a lot of melee-based compositions.
Jetzt müssen die Ash oder Seraphine bannen.
See what they pair up for, especially since a lot of tools are being whittled.
Weil die können dann auch Ash auf 4.
of what they can pair
Nee, warte mal, die picken auf
Something
4.
you mentioned last
Wait.
round was the Jinx. Kind of on top as that long-range option. For
Wait.
follow-up. I
Ash
wonder
Seraphine und
if
Kaden ist offen.
Getting a look in, although we haven't really seen any Jinx.
Ban Kaden, glaube ich.
So,
Frage ist, was spielst du dann gegen Ash?
Classic, you know,
Ja, Ash, Lulu gehen oder Seraphine, was gehst du dann?
out of the meta. So
Boah, Kaden raus bitte.
the Lulu still feels viable. You you know, like now you have the Lulu Yunara angle where you can empower the Renekton.
Lushmilio ist guter Call. Seraphin Lushmilio, ja.
With the wild growth, but also keep your Yunara in a safe spot. I know Yunara is not everyone's favorite AD carry right now because it has felt
Sehr guter Call.
and has been punished a
Den
lot
traden wir wahrscheinlich.
in the LCK and now Road to MSI, but I think that might be the best bet here for T1 at this point.
Sondern Seraphin traden. Milio raus. Seraphin, Lush, Nami geht natürlich nicht mehr wegen Mandate Changes.
Milio Jinx, possible.
Oh.
No options open.
Aber Seraphin oder nicht?
Actually can flex the Shen down to support, but can keep the options open. And it looks like they might end up just going toward Ashe Seraphine in a situation and putting the Shen in the top lane.
Guck mal Lulu gegen Lushmilio. Okay. Auch damit kann ich arbeiten. Stark. Mag den Job von Hanma sehr.
Oh man.
It's G2.
They're here at our road to MSI. What are they doing here?
Ich mag den Job von Hanma sehr, sehr, sehr.
Incredibly powerful. And if you go for the Lucian pick here, you were just so heavily outscaled.
Die sollen Jinx killen. Jinx it up.
I don't think he could do it. I don't think he could run that here. I don't think it's gonna work.
Yeah, you're playing this short-ranged melee composition into Shen, Cassiopeia.
Mag den Job von Hanma viel mehr.
And just icing on the cake is Lee Sin Kick has tremendous value at Peel. You have these carries who they don't care how many bulky champions you have. They just have so much damage to cut through them. I think HLE really have to miss-execute if they're going to get
agreed.
This one. It's up to T1 to be super proactive, get the ball rolling, and then not misstep. We've seen HLE leading the charge every game so far, but I think they are in such a comfortable position in this game 3.
I mean, the drafts have just been so good for HLE, but it almost feels like it's been tiered. Game 1, they had a small advantage. Game 2, we felt like they had a larger one, and then Game 3 here. If you went Jinx, you know, you would have had maybe a...
Hast du auch so Game 2 gesagt? Ja, habe ich auch. Und Game 2 hätten sie auch gewinnen sollen.
That's just not what we see. We don't see that type of innovation in the best of 5 like this. You stick to what the plan was, but when Gumayushi locks Kog'Maw and they throw a wrench into the gears of all your plans and you stick to the plan, sometimes it can really, really backfire. And I think my expectation is it likely will.
Wird Maus vom Server geschossen oder wie schaut's aus? Und wie sieht's beim Mongols B8 aus?
Player, I just don't know if this draft was calling for that.
I also feel like when you're playing into Kog, Lulu, and Cassiopeia, you know, we've seen game 1 and 2 defined by these snap engages, but you don't even have that with this composition. Your engage is Neferi goes in or Renekton goes in, and then you follow up with Galio, but it's not super responsive.
Also, wichtig. Jungler.
It's a big game here to see who's going to take the lead in the series for T1 versus HLE.
Wow. Morgen ist er beim 61-14. Alrighty.
Alrighty, game number 3 on the cards. And so far, it does feel like it's been all over the place. There have been moments where there have been obvious mistakes made, and then the opposing team would immediately capitalize on to get a massive swing in their direction. So, you know, we had a moment in the middle of that game where everything was quieted down. HLE hadn't overextended. They were just kind of playing well from
Backup gerade wird's wieder richten. Na, Exhaust ist schlau von Guma. Exhaust ist sehr schlau.
As they push too deep.
Mag alles hier dran.
Yeah, we all know what happens next. T1 tie up the series. So interested to see where we go from here if the teams kind of quiet down a little bit as they settle into this best of 5.
I do think there is a lot of power in the early game for T1.
Oh, wow. Ja, Flash, also richtige Decision zu Flash natürlich, aber sonst zurück gewesen.
The bottom and top lanes, not the mid lane, and I wasn't saying that because Faker went for a taunt and then decided that he was likely going to die if he did do that.
Von Kanavi interessant. 3 Camps into Invade.
So,
Base Camp geht, oh, er geht Crux, oder? Oh, er geht Crux, yeah, I love it. I love it. Und jetzt ein Wort darüber noch, oder? Ja, oh, ich liebe es. Nö, ich mag den Hammer-Drop viel mehr. Ja, Sidestep auf den Q.
Okay. That's how the trade is supposed to look. Dodging quite a lot. Owner, he's like, huh,
Lol.
What's going on over here?
Blink and you'll miss it. You see something? I don't know. But is Kanavi continuing to be
Oh, und er trifft den Q jetzt. Oh, Enti. Jetzt verlierst du aber Kanavi.
1v1 so far. Kanavi kind of bleeding out though. Eventually he's going to have to hop over to Zeka. Gets pretty low, but not really any danger.
Jetzt läuft er ihm hinterher, die Sau.
The issues with playing out 1v1 is that all the dogs in the way just block the Sonic wave.
I mean, obviously, also,
So low that he's in danger of being invaded
I
himself.
mean, offensichtlich ist es halt der größere Fehler at hand hier. Schön.
Very close there. Valdez is favorite. Does get away. He's gonna stick to the Krugs.
I think this was such an
Unironically. Oh. Zeus moves zuerst. Oh, wait. Er wird gerage-baited. Ona wird komplett gerage-baited.
Until you went for that heavy trade onto him.
And now it's gonna start.
Er wird komplett gerage-baited.
Kanavi getting pretty low here. As the flash comes
Er wurde so gerage-baited.
finds himself in the same spot as game number 2, this time a little bit earlier. And
Und er ist auch noch tot. Die werden komplett gerage-baited. Oh mein Gott.
But he's able to run away from Zeka's cast.
Zeka actually flashed on him.
Peak.
So committing that cooldown and trying to
Peak.
fake it, but doesn't.
Das miterlebt ist sehr gut für T1 noch.
Between the junglers, I feel like Kanavi overstepped and was getting punished for it, and then Ona, would you believe, overstepped
On the enemy Krugs. Again.
Who's the real Krug Lord here? Like, it's Doran. He's not even part of any of this.
Yeah,
I think maybe it was Ona was thinking back to last MSI, and he just remembers Krugs were really important. Krugs were the defining factor.
Yeah.
Du sagst dann, wir stehen 1-1. Es hätte auch ein 2-0 sein können.
Flashing.
Sollen. Ja, komplett gerage-baited. Und der hat Q-Flash gefällt, by the way. Ich glaube, Kanavi wäre unironically wahrscheinlich sogar tot gewesen. Er hätte das richtig gemacht. Rush eigentlich für den 2-5er-Zug.
Probably told him already, you know, like he's coming, by the way. Maybe that's why he flashed. He's like, they're gonna catch me no matter what. I got to flash to try to get this kill so I can at least get something back, but...
We're back.
Ja, Pickaxe Advantage natürlich.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things that
Jetzt kann er reingehen.
the theory I was
Oh.
say,
Oh,
no.
Tom
Oh.
underneath the turret.
Oh.
Doran taking a huge amount of damage, but he's got enough fury built up. It looks
Kein
like
Flash bei Zeus auch.
I don't know.
he's going back in.
Oh.
And
Oh.
Doran is able to hit level 6 as well, so he is totally fine.
Auch Toplane wird gerage-baited.
Level 6 was closer than I thought there for Doran. I thought Zeus had a larger advantage in experience, so he will be fine. Dominus there, nothing that Zeus can do. Quite a cool taunt under turret before. Rating pattern here good. I was going to mention before we had some more of
Shen ulti auch ab. Zeus wird basen hoch TP.
in that I think you can really feel the tension in the players in the series. We're seeing a lot of mistakes. I don't want to call it big.
I mean, es ist Shen ulti versus no Shen ulti.
Seeing some
Unwinnable fight, of course.
gameplay here from both squads.
Oh, Zeus ist gestayed.
The stakes are so incredibly high. Owner going to look for a bit of a steal away here potentially. Does not have flash, so I think he's going to have to leave.
Yeah, he's alone. That is Cassiopeia. You must leave.
Erster Drake, also erster First Drake für Hanwha D-Series.
Drake.
Champion who's so mobile, so hard to pin down. You can kind of play so recklessly as a result, but if there's ever a comp to hold you accountable, this is it.
Yeah, so many times we saw picks early on when our pros were still dabbling and beginning to understand what the pick does into stuff like
Oh mein Gott.
This time owners invade actually does.
Die rage-baitet die ganze Zeit. Ja, mit Shen ulti gegen Galli ulti auch für so einen Fight.
As we expected, is definitely struggling here.
Smite doch.
There were no jungle resources given, right? Like, he went Doran's Helm start in this matchup, which is, you know, quite weird, quite unusual.
Nee, ist überhaupt nicht weird in Losing Matchups.
And then
Also mir auch aufgefallen, dass Wolf manchmal bei diesen Sachen ein wenig behind ist.
And so as a result, like there's a heavy gold lead or gold lead, but
So ein bisschen Shifts bei und Trends und so.
Yushi. And you picked the Lucian. It was the final pick. It was the counter pick.
I just feel like with how this game has gone so far, it's still early days, but the fact that HLE already have that 1,000 gold lead, have a dragon in pocket, they're feeling pretty great with the early progression, and now having the Shen ult as well is just a
Ist die richtige Entscheidung, Olaf. Helm ist komplett OP.
things like a Nocturne ultimate or
Und Base Stats, ja.
Galio ultimate, but Shen is really just so much more responsive in the fact that you can just be anywhere and provide that shield immediately. puts so much more pressure on T1 to get their plays right when they go for them.
Yeah, we've seen some crazy.
Warum nicht einfach Helm nerven? Ja, aber du willst Helm ja als Starter-Item haben. Helm sollte niemals im Jungle herumgebalanced sein. Mal geht MSI nochmal los, 28.
Crazy what he can provide. So we've seen Shen plus Kog'Maw on comps in the past. And
yeah, I saw
you
one
guys are going to get to see it
at a first stand.
Yeah.
Yeah, it went really well for that team.
It did.
Gut geturnt, wow.
Dodge here from Faker. We do have Kanavi though on the chase. No
Kick.
more taunts coming in. The kick is there. And
Schönes Ding.
More Fang. Faker's putting in the back of Faker.
Schönes Ding.
Player cam there as well.
He looks angry.
And like, I'm not sure what Faker was trying to set up there. I mean, but even without the information.
Same für Pace, ja. Sehen wir öfters bei AD Carries in Losing Matchup. Senna etc. machen es auch.
Even if he knew there wasn't anybody there, I'm not sure if that trade he was looking for there was going to be great. I mean, obviously no one was really nearby to help him out. He just
Wenn Patch mir die Elfer.
gives HLE an opportunity.
Oh, it's this.
Die haben Shen-Ulti, by the way.
That's this game.
The Raptors.
Bekommen einen Kanavi.
I think Owner got one of those little
Kanavi got the
guys.
big one this time.
Yeah. Owner got like 8 gold.
Sie haben Galio-Ulti und sie haben keinen Kick, also...
As it really does feel like neither of these teams are backing down from the fight.
Ja, also beide Jungle Rage-baiten sich hier die ganze Zeit. Ja, echt ganz geil.
Their own aggression game.
I mean, in the 1v1, Kanavi is at such a disadvantage.
Oh, die swappen hoch.
Sonic Wave out.
Interesting.
Single doggo. Like, okay.
Hayes is coming to swamp up.
Interesting.
But Doran doesn't have
Series bisher. Ja, sollte 2-0 für Hammer stehen.
So there's going to be a lot of minions lost in the bottom lane to get these
Yeah, they're coming heavily.
Und sie kriegen nur 2 auch, ne?
grubs.
Hätten wir mal einen Sniper Contest Camp? Wie Kanavi hat doch die Raptors bekommen.
Interesting plan here. Will come at a heavy cost if it does not work.
Nein, er hat gepacemited.
Here comes Kanavi. He says,
Kanavi hat gepacemited, by the way.
With me, going for the trade into Owner. There's the Shen shield as the kick comes in. Owner in a bit of trouble.
Oh.
Q is not going to let
Oh, er hat die Dogo gesmited. Das kann nicht sein.
These guys are just...
Ja, Flash für Flash. Der reines Ego-Battle hier im Jungle.
But look at the bottom lane. I mentioned before. No answer here.
Und ja, also auf Toplane, es war halt super weird von T1. Also sie haben 2 Grubbies bekommen, aber Botlane brennt, lichterloh. Noch eine Plate weg.
Getting free money and Pay's got nothing for that rotation up to the top side. They didn't get the kill, they didn't get the turret, and
Ich krieg die Plate nicht.
free farming. He is 750 gold ahead.
They got 2 grubs.
Okay, sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Galio gets to hit a turret, man. Who's gonna remember that moment?
Once again.
Sehr awkward, dass er da gebased ist und gecancelt wurde.
But
Wie viele Clips.
Situation where HLE
So
are
stark.
getting a bit of a incremental lead early on in the game. But this time they have, you know,
Er muss stayen eigentlich, oder nicht?
and Cassiopeia.
Aber ist so komisch für einen Drake-Timer. Nee, er kann nichts sehen. Okay. Gehen so fertig. Dieses Ausbiken so hart auf diesem Drake. Aber sie haben keine Shen-Ulti.
Also, it's not carrying
Dafür TP von Shen.
on with paranoia backup for his engages. You know, if you think about the engage of T1.
Oh, wait, er ist tot.
Galio?
Oder flashlos.
I mean, flash from Faker just to get away, but that was so much of game 1 and game 2 defined by these snapping games.
Schauen von Mitte Play, schaut auf Nafiri.
On the supports. It's not them for T1 in particular. It's either Galio or Doran, and they don't have.
Aber ich finde, Owner hat bisher echt nicht so einen guten Tag, muss man sagen. Ich denke, on average wird es wahrscheinlich eher für Owner argumentieren auf jeden Fall.
Lulu follow-up to make it really work.
This Doran game
Die haben Shen-TP.
not gonna work. They're gonna try to turn into a dragon take, but Shen, no ult, but has TP.
It's gonna come down to a flip.
Digga.
Let's go the way of Honor.
Den musst du landen, by the way. Die griefen so hart mit dem Move von Renekton.
Yeah, I thought
Bitte.
I guess I've seen the replay. It looked like it
Bitte.
was super close. And Kanavi trying to get it with the execute, with the recast on the Sonic.
Die griefen so hart. Kein Flash auf Faker. Ist tot.
Yeah, Vega's in a lot of trouble. No flash here, no help either.
Fast.
This jungler is doing, you guessed it, the Krugs. This time on the other side, he is
Okay,
not.
Gott sei Dank.
Jump away, dies in-
Großer Gott, hätte er ja auch noch überlebt. Ich wäre ja OOC ausgerastet.
Yeah, he's not having a lot of fun here on this Galio.
No, not really, and we kind of predicted that from the draft.
Sehr gut.
It's a pretty surprising draft here for T1 as, and again here just trying to clear the wave as soon as possible. Steps up too far, doesn't have his flash anymore. Has just a little bit of greed after what was a successful steal.
Der Fire Touch Kill, ne? Der Fire Touch plus Q.
And it's just you know, it's a rough.
Gelattenes
situation.
Greaves bei Guma.
I
Aha.
feel like history has repeated itself, and mind you, the two of you guys weren't there with me in Atlas, but we just commentated a similar type of series with Plus and KT, where it just kept being massive gold leads and then comebacks. T1 couldn't complete the comeback in game 1. They did it in game 2, and they want to go up to match point. They're going to have to do it again in game 3, where HLE Esports has once again dominated the early. But the difference in comps, as you already pointed out, is so different this time. Like it's definitely an HLE late game comp with I mean, they couldn't have more tools to use their scaling composition.
I think for T1, you need
LCK ist zweite Game verloren, Schlaganfall von Gumayushi.
numbers advantages or coming from creative angles. It's tricky because you're into a Shen, but if you have the burst available, you can burst.
Ja, wahrscheinlich nicht Borg, nee. Der geht
But in a straight
Navori, oder nicht?
there's so much structure to HLE's composition, it's going to make it hard to push through.
Doran's in a lot of trouble, actually. He is going to be okay.
Sein Assignment ist natürlich richtig geil, auch mit Shen Ulti ab.
But, you know,
Ich glaube, der geht Navori Terminus oder sowas, ist glaube ich der Standardbild. Oder was heißt Standardbild, aber den Bild, den wir letztes Mal gesehen haben.
But either way, just gonna push him off the wave.
Jetzt fixen sie Lane Assignment.
Taker has to go bottom lane here to catch this wave. And it's HLE Esports is moving T1 around the map with the fact that they're
Gameset für T1 ist horrible. Horrible, die Gameset, ja, natürlich.
They're always going to have man advantage. Galio doesn't have
2,3 Lead, aber technisch würde ich eher so auf 4K Lead sagen gerade.
Shen can literally go anywhere.
Also, to me, this is one of the rough points as well, is the fact that you have this Lucian Milio.
Die Entscheidung von Kanabi, mal reinzuspringen, auch richtig, by the way. Mit Short Trades, mit Eclipse-Schild.
Milio, you want to be playing around that mid prio, be not to challenge the enemy bot lane and force them away. But it's Paze and Carrier who are just clearing the wave on the tower. They're not able to capitalize on what has been.
Das Raid ausgewechselt wurde. Woher kommt das? Ich verstehe nicht, woher das immer kommt, by the way. Die haben freiwillig geliefert.
Mid lane prio.
Die sind selber von sich ausgegangen.
Really giving such limited options to T1 right now.
Schade, Shannon Teamfight on top of Cock stehen 100%. W drauf ist so valuable.
I mean, game 1 and 2 started pretty.
I mean, entweder du ultest Kanavi, wenn er reingeht, den Psychopath, oder du stehst auf dem Cock mal drauf. Beides finde ich okay.
I think if you're looking for a little bit of copium for sure. On the side of T1.
Oder rausgeredet, würde ich sagen. I mean, besseres Angebot in Hand bekommen und
get some kind of miracle engage on the Galio. Like the game isn't over, but it's really rough when you're this far behind against Canada.
Lane Assignments wieder super nah. Also solange wenn die dieses Lane Assignment halten, das ist Chefskiss. Kenny Rook on first ist verrückt, ja.
Thankfully.
I think the thing for me is that I almost feel personally invested in this game state because we all were hoping for a different draft.
Achso, ja, aber die sind sowieso alle mentally. Aber I guess, das ist ja ganz anderes Level da drüben bei den Freaks.
Consequences, and it's not going to get easier. And we all had different thoughts about how this one was going to go. And it's not a commentator I told you so moment, but it's a moment where we're all frustrated.
Dann spielt Hanwha gegen Genji. Nee, Gewinner ist durch. Gewinner ist bei MSI. Verlierer spielt gegen wahrscheinlich Genji. Wenn wir davon ausgehen, dass sie gegen Katie gewinnen morgen, was sie werden. So viel Damage genommen gerade, by the way. Starling raus, basically kein Damage gemacht, Heal war gut. TP, The Light Ulti, sehr gut. Digga, diese Smites von beiden, ne? Holy Motherfucker. Instant Herald Placement, Kanavi kann ihn fahren, wenn er will. Ja, fährt ihn auch. Wollen die engagen? Nee, na? Ja, Mitte Turret rein, sehr gut. Gute Entscheidung. Decision Making. Sehr gut. Into Drake, sehr gut. Warum Genji noch nicht durch? Weil die Lower Bracket spielen. Also die haben quasi den kompletten Run machen, oder die machen quasi dritten Platz. Haben sie gemacht, deswegen müssen sie gegen Katie zuerst spielen. Doch, gewinnen das beim MSI. Die haben keine richtigen Playoffs in Korea. Was man weiß, wenn man meine Recaps anschaut.
All they need to do is hold the line, protect the backline carries, and they'll be successful. Now they get the Herald into mid.
Lucian gefällt mir nicht so. Nee, Draft ist. Also Draft ist sehr, sehr Hanwha-favored in meinem Kopf. Sehr, sehr Hanwha-favored.
Use the Herald to escape, get turret, and that's Prio for Dragon. All at once, while T1 get nothing. And there's. T1 were almost able to set up a fight, but HLE were not like, maybe we can win this without Herald. They just instantly drop the combat Herald. They instantly bail out.
And when I'll say it, right? When it was Kanavi who got in the Herald, I really thought he saw the 4-man. He was going to go for it.
Yeah, no. I was worried too.
Yeah. More measured for sure.
They got what they came for. This will be actually the first turret going over to T1 here. Faker gets some alone time with it. And because HLE were unable to get that mid turret earlier, actually a little bit behind in that one, puts a dent in the gold lead. It's not about the 1.8 thousand gold lead that's the problem. It's the fact that T1 aren't ahead. It's that they don't have tempo, that they don't have pressure. And FaZe needs to be in a position to actually pressure the enemy AD carry here.
Right, trying to beat Guma into
Lulu-Ulti kam in dem Moment ab, by the way. Die haben immer noch Shen-Ulti.
against that Nafiri. They are still going to get the exhaust and the flash away. Alongside of that wild growth, obviously cannot be for the angle here, but
That's big, though, for
Gibt sogar keiner besser mehr? Nee.
those summoners on
Nee,
Guma,
muss er
making him a
nicht.
much more viable target. I think the wild growth was a little bit late. It didn't interrupt the ult from Owner like we saw it in the previous fight.
Yeah.
The damage seemed to come through, which put a lot more threat onto Gumayushi. So able to be in a summoner, and to be honest, those are the big openings. I think if the game plays out slowly and all the flashes are available for HLE, it becomes so hard to approach fights. But now you have a
Nicht mehr gut, ist fein.
in
Ich
mind.
spiele einfach nicht. Ich spiele andere Champions. Also ich mag zum Beispiel Wukong einfach sehr auf dem Patch.
Lulu ult can get you pretty far, but it's not a
Kein Flash auf Gumayushi, aber der ist... Boah, ist er wieder ab für den Drake? Nee, ist er nicht. 250 Sekunden? Nee, ist er nicht.
a punish angle.
Drake, nächster Drake-Fight ohne Flash auf
A
Kog'Maw.
lot going wrong. Those pays is sitting down pretty low on the damage in this game. Just hasn't been given any opportunity.
gonna find Carrier here, but it's Kanavi alone. And yeah, I mean,
Die Nafiri nachher AD Carry oder Support one-shottet. Lulu-Ult geht... Wenn die Lulu-Ulti gut getimed ist, kann die Nafiri niemals
Guma or even onto
ihren Play finden.
what scares me is
Aber ja, also in der Theorie schon. In der Praxis sollte Lulu-Ulti wie ein Mensch... Also sollte der Light die Lulu-Ulti wie ein Mensch verwenden. Und die Nafiri-Ulti stoppen.
because even if they did go all in and take out Guma, you still got to deal with Zeka. You got to deal
Klar, du musst entweder Lulu-Ulti für Renekton, wenn er auf dich drauf geht, oder Nafiri auf dich drauf geht.
damage threats that
Oder Galio, I guess, aber Galio ist so unrealistisch.
and you know, at least they open an option, and maybe they can follow up on the summoners of Guma. And they're certainly going to have to fight over at least a couple of dragons.
2-1 ist fertig. Ja, Navori ist fertig.
Want to fight over the next
Dauer, also sehr viel Uptime beim Kog'Maw da jetzt.
So much of the map right now on the top side is T1 control. They have that push into the bottom lane. They got a little bit of tempo back. You can really feel it when you look around the map, but that alone isn't going to necessarily win you team fights. It's how you use it, and how you set up to get those picks. If Faker can set up a taunt in the brush, you know, if they're able to get even one target. If they catch the Lulu, even Zeus tries to come on a flank angle, set up a taunt, they catch him. There are ways to 5v4 and be successful here. Lucian's on 2
Zeka ist so stark.
Kog'Maw
Vegas ist auch noch nicht mal geprockt.
even at 1,000 gold ahead.
Der ist so im Juice, ja.
So I'm like esports still need to be respectful because that's what we go back to in the comeback near
Und jetzt Nafiri geht Serpents, sie sollte als drittes nach Serpents gehen auf jeden Fall. Black Cleaver zu Serpents.
ended up
Sollte sie gehen, ja.
opportunity.
Sie haben zwar Shieldbreak mit Renekton, aber ich glaube, der alleine reicht nicht.
the big things.
IMO.
If you're going to capitalize
Ja, AD Carry, also AD Carry rein, Power-Level technisch ist sollte der Kog'Maw so viel stärker sein. Aber erneut kein Flash für den Drake. Das ist big.
For TP flank is going to be really important. When you're playing into things like Cassiopeia, Lee Sin, so much easier when you can approach from multiple angles. So you're not getting kicked into your teammates. He's not playing bowling with the entire roster. And so finding an angle to get down wards is really important. And actually, you can see Carrier just managed to make his way in there. And you can see near the river. Just
Digga,
over the
also,
wall, he's
no joke, also er geht man nicht, aber dass der so viel Damage machen kann, ne?
actually around
Mit einem Kenneck Rokon.
dragon setting up in the river.
Also,
There is positions.
da fällt mir nichts mehr so ein. Ist Navoris auf Kog'Maw normal, hat sich ein bisschen normalisiert, ja.
They sweep all these
Gibt ja einfach sehr viel W-Uptime, was ja eigentlich die Downside ist, also die W-Cooldown, darum ist ja quasi das Kit gebalanced.
A really good point. TP down for Zeka now, who catches that wave. 35 seconds here until the dragon. A lot of prio for T1, a lot of vision. Doran has TP.
Also wenn ihr Nachteulen seid, was ich euch ans Herz legen kann, Kroko-Boss, Solo-Q. Der muss unbedingt Master hitten, er hat noch 10 Tage Zeit und er ist, glaube ich, damit 3.
One thing notably as well, because
Es ist so lustig,
one less sweep,
wirklich.
because, you know, you
Es ist so lustig, er ist so sauer die ganze Zeit.
He doesn't have one to sweep out, and they haven't cleared out those 2 wards behind. So
Ja, und Felix also Pick, der ist so sauer, ist er geboren, der ist so sauer durchgehend. Ja, natürlich, die sind, glaube ich, 50% Minute so Diamond 3. Und er muss halt in 10 Tagen, also er hat jetzt noch 9 Tage Zeit, um Master zu erreichen. Vor Korea halt, oh, TP-Flank.
And there's the TP, and now
Heal ist gut.
HLE realized
Disengagen,
what was going on.
ja.
Able to back away
Super.
and actually get position here, but now we got a TP in from the Shen. Immediately
Shen W ist gut.
down, but still Zeus pretty tanky. Still has to back away, and now
Zeus Base hat noch Ulti ab.
here on the dragon for now.
They need to start working on it.
Junge.
They are going to take.
Die haben so viel Poke, actually.
A bit of a split here. Owner soloing it as they hold this banana brush. Vision control is so paramount here. Guma pushing forward.
Lulu-Ulti, Lulu-Ulti!
Here, and immediately is just
Was?
going to get blown up. Leads the charge, dies, and now we're going to see Zeus going in, and he is going to fall. They do take out
Was?
the jungler of T1, but that is about it. As now T1 up a member. Flash comes in, double taunt from Faker. tower as they're looking for more. They're gonna get some flashes out of HLE, but it's still a one-team fight.
Delight!
And he just charged so far forward on the Cogmore. Flash wasn't available at the time, and Guma gets immediately
Guck mal, ist so ein Troll. Nein! Nein! Es ist Delights Fehler! Es ist Delights Fehler, bitte!
Carries, right? I mean, yes, you have Zeka as backup, but just wasn't able to do anything there as this would be
Bitte!
crazy. No way.
No.
No way, Kanavi.
No way. Go away.
They're also like not just trying to miss the
Was macht Zeka?
We're gonna kill him.
Yes, Smite though. He's
Oh! Big! Big!
distracted by someone else, the Cassiopeia. Now they do take him down, but Kanavi picks up a couple of kills. At least they are able to
Kick ihn!
out of the light. But now Kanavi in an awkward spot. He's gonna get taunted up. Guma doesn't really
Kick ihn nicht.
back up here, trying to save Elise.
Stark!
It's gonna work out for him. He is gonna flash away, but now you're gonna lose your flash and potentially go down. As trying to save him, he is not able to. And now we got a weird breakdown as it's a one between a Fury and a Shen.
Fury gewinnt, by the way.
Importantly, they got the dragon.
Oder?
We do still have this 1v1 going on. Owner just trying to kite it out with the little doggies.
Es war nicht Gumayushis Fehler, by the way. Es ist Delights Fehler. Dieser fucking Loser. Er hat einen Job, seine Ulti wie ein Human benutzen. Fucking Loser.
This was a manic encounter.
It's hard to quantify who walks out.
Also jetzt schaut bitte auf diese Huren-Lulu.
It's so expensive.
Einen Job hat er.
They were able to get a lot of those kills back, so it didn't end up being as bad as it looked initially. But here,
Warum läuft er auf Gumayushi drauf, dass er sich selber ulten muss auf dem Renekton? Er ist so blöd. Er ist so blöd.
ready to follow up on the taunt.
Disgusting. Ich hasse Supports.
Zeka gets zoned
Du meinte doch, der Play ist okay, wenn die Lulu wie ein Mensch steht.
And T1 end up, thinking they've got this Baron secured, or this Dragon secured. They chase Kanavi and then turn on to Zeka without getting the smite here. So it ends up just being Kanavi taking this away, which is very hilarious.
Du kommst nicht als Erster rein, aber warum? Es ist doch ich glaube, es ist wirklich fein. Also vielleicht, er kann vielleicht langsamer spielen, aber ich glaube, es ist fein, wenn die Lulu-Ulti sitzt. I'm not joking. Ich glaube, es ist okay. Er hat Flash-Up, by the way.
Just mostly onto HLE. We saw Cullen coming down. But they're able to back away, importantly. Once again, it's definitely the
Hallo? Der hat kein Flash, by the way. Der hat kein Flash.
on top of Faker, who's in a rough spot.
Dankeschön.
Just soaking up a ton of damage because Polymorph, he's still alive.
Wieso ist er so tanky?
Faker very tanky here on the Galio.
Yeah, the ult from Carrier saving him there. It's also gone the what's it called? Volcanic Rukun for maximum magic resistance as Zeka. We don't often see that on the Galio in the mid lane.
Oh, bitte, ihr seid alle Loyalo, bitte. Ich kann es nicht lesen. Bitte, ihr müsst alle aufhören zu schreiben, bitte. Ehrlich. Eure Opinion ist so worthless bei sowas.
From the extra effect, so on his W, his E, and his R.
And the vulnerability for the Lucian, who needs that extra
Krank.
damage to cut through and get that burst, is going to feel great. We do have Randuins here now completed for this Kog'Maw, so very difficult to burst him down without a lot of help and a lot of CC.
Randuins ist okay. Ich bin am überlegen, ob man Jakshu geht, aber er hat halt keine Resistenz, ne? Oh, das ist ein geiler Catch.
No objective over here. Owner's not going to expect this. As he's
Schöner Catch, ja.
burst into it.
Q-Ulti, schöner Catch.
Galio comes down, but they get
Sehr geil. Oh, wow, Kanavi.
here from the side of HLE.
Sehr geiler Catch, Gonesh. Nice.
Kanavi is huge. They get a couple. As now, what are they going to take afterwards?
Schön. Mortal Miner verstehe ich auch nicht so ganz persönlich, ja. Mortal Miner kann ich actually gar nicht nachvollziehen.
Around, but they just could not collapse fast enough. The whole HLE were able to get in there from the mid lane.
Dass die Gegner engagieren, aber die Gegner können ja nicht engagieren, wenn die Lulu ultet, wie ein Mensch. Wenn die Lulu sich nicht wie ein Loser positioned und ihn richtig ultet, dann ist die Nafiri-Ulti geblockt, dann kann er DPS und dann Worst Case Flash da raus, aber dann ist die Nafiri schon so deep, dass sie gewinnen. Leider ist der Light ein fucking Loser.
Comes up huge for HLE.
Now with Baron in hand, 2,500 gold lead. It's Dragon in
Ja, vielleicht darf er nicht reinlaufen, aber es würde trotzdem funktionieren, weil deren Comp viel besser ist.
And then just choke out the vision of T1. And when T1's composition, the short range comp, needs to push in aggressively, it's so hard to do.
Geiler Play, also super, super kreativer und geiler Play.
Doesn't expect them to be there at all. And even with all the safety,
Richtig schön.
it's not enough against
Ist der richtige Play? Oh mein Gott, woher weißt du das? Du bist wahrscheinlich Silber. Wie willst du das beurteilen? Er ist komplett OP, er hat 2 Items mit Cockman Lulu. Mit Shen Ulti, by the way. Und der Cassio W als Follow-up. Sie sind komplett OP. Er kann machen, was er will, solange Delight wie ein Mensch spielt. Was ist denn der richtige Play dann?
HLE pushing the waves out with the Baron buff.
Was ist denn der richtige Play, bitte?
The vision. in this situation and just not give T1
Das ist eine Juggernaut-Comp.
the area.
Juggernaut-Comp besteht daraus, dass der Kog'Maw Frontline ist, weil er so OP ist. Lee Cassie und Shen sollten da nicht Frontline.
Drake, they have to fight for it. I mean, at least in terms of flash CDs, maybe they can try to force something on Guma, but that's about it. And again, as we've talked about, he has so much protection.
Es ist fein, lass einfach den Hanwha mir schauen, bitte.
Position well and not overextend, not walk into that CC.
Yeah, has Randuin's.
It feels like it's a lock.
His flash is up so soon, so they could stall it out for that as well.
Oh wow.
And,
oh wow, da Galio Ulti. Okay.
Faker.
But it's completely worthless in terms of what he.
Guck mal, Yushi vielleicht abwarten, es sind noch so 5 Sekunden.
You know, Baron is still up here, so HLE could just bide their time, push those waves out. Now they're on this dragon. No Galio ult here.
And 2 seconds, 1 second, Guma flash back up. There is a flank coming in.
Okay, Delight.
This flank could go so hard.
Dipshit.
We'll see how it is going to work as immediately
Gut.
access, but he's going
Gut.
to up. In goes the Nafiri. Big taunt is there, but the follow-up not quite. A lot of
Sehr gut.
Doran already
Oh, big!
he takes the Infernal Soul.
GG.
From the hands of T1, picks up the double kill. And HLE are beginning to run away with this game as another
Big. Solution einfach in den dritten.
The steal is there on top of the triple kill.
Beautiful peel there from Delight to stop the Renekton from getting access to his AD carry. The damage starts to come around. The turnaround is there. And Kanavi cleans up, executing the members of T1, getting the kills, getting
Ja, echt, also heute nicht so ein guter Tag von Owner auf jeden Fall. Ja. Aber
close this game out. I don't think they're going to get it right now.
sehr geil von Kanavi.
So strong. 7,000 gold lead in Infernal Soul as well. And then just massacring the base.
And just ripping this inhibitor out. And that's what the edges of the rest of this Baron. So T1 lose Infernal Soul, lose an inhibitor. And Kanavi goes back in here initially to push on the Doran, and then peel here for the backline, and then decides that, hey, you know what, I'm gonna attack the solution. Steals the dragon.
Wow.
The
Der klickt ein wenig schneller als ich tatsächlich. Also.
And he's looking to clean up house on paper.
Wow, 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 wow.
Dragon in the first place.
Mainnet auf Galio. Mainnet wurde geändert. Ist auf Galio, Lissandra und diesen Champions ziemlich geil jetzt, ja. Okay, so, jetzt den Final Schlaganfall verhindern. Wow, schön. Schön gespaced. Den Final Schlaganfall bitte verhindern.
That's where you are going to get the secure, as even the lights getting into the action.
3-0 in Justin Sean Lens schwierig zu sagen. I mean, I guess, ja.
Still trying to get that mid tower. Pays is desperate. He's been trying all game.
You know, I don't want to say it's done so.
Frage ist, ob man dann zustimmen sollte, halt jetzt beispielsweise Nocturne in diesem Game 2 Draft zu spielen.
It really feels like at this point, there's just no way back in. Even with the standing goal, the bounties.
Noch kein Flash. Ich sage ab Gumayushi Flash. Ab Gumayushi Flash sehr free. Davor gibt es vielleicht noch die 1% Doctor Strange Möglichkeit. Die 0,01% Doctor Strange Möglichkeit.
You can see they're just kind of brute forcing it. Zeus is going to taunt into multiple members, and now he has to try to flash away. Lots of damage is there.
Jetzt ist Lulu-Ulti raus. Wow, Kanavi ist hochgeflogen.
Okay, he's okay. He's back. And that's going to be the inhibitor in mid.
Zeus hat eine Ult ab.
Now, taken down.
Oh, wait, der ist tot, oder nicht? Ja. Shen Ulti drauf. Flash Engage von Zeka, super. Zeus Delivery Ball. Unwinnable Drafts. Für T1. Und endlich verlieren sie auch. Exhaust, geil.
He's just trying to get the wave in here, it looks like, as HLE, I think, from this position, should be able to close it out. So you could probably still hear the hesitation in my voice, but that is going to be the kick away, and Guma will be safe this time. Owner desperate to try to do something, but it is...
Kann hier auch 3-0 stehen, I'm just saying. Sollte hier vielleicht 3-0 stehen. Haben wir heute IMO, bessere Drafts und Gameplay-technisch eigentlich auch besser. GG.
And despite the fact they're 2-1 up, this is the first game that felt pretty convincing start to finish, other than that one team fight, but they did flub it a little bit. It was just a strong early game. They knew what to do with their composition. They followed through and they closed it out without any real hope for T1. So a big confidence boost, and now at match point to attend MSI, redeem themselves. What happened last year, the road to MSI.
The Lee Sin pick worked a treat. I mean, in that fight where he stole the dragon to secure the soul, He peeled for the back line. He got into the pit, got the dragon, and got multiple kills. He was doing so much. But I think we have to go back to the rest of the overarching draft here for T1. It felt like
So, okay. So, jetzt bitte, bitte unbiased draufschauen. Und ihr sagt mir jetzt, dass wenn diese Lulu 2 Gehirnzellen hat, okay? Wenn diese Lulu 2 Gehirnzellen hat, dass dieser Fight nicht freest, okay? Schaut mal, wie hart die committen. Was passiert, wenn der Light wie ein normaler Mensch hier steht, hier rechts, okay? Und sich nicht von dem hier angehen lässt, okay? Und die Lulu-Ulti sitzt. Bitte. Es ist so free. Es ist so free. Es ist so free. Lulu-Ulti. Dann ist das hier disengaged. Der Galio kommt nicht auf. Es ist so free. Es ist so free. Es ist so free. Und dann sind die alle auf einem Ball into die Cassio Follow-up. Es ist so free. Natürlich ist der richtige Play, nach vorne zu laufen. Es ist so free. Er hat keinen Flash. Man kann darüber argumentieren, okay, warte dein Flash ab und es ist 100% free. Aber es ist jetzt schon free. Ich bin mir so sicher, es ist so free. Ich bin mir so sicher, es ist so free. Mit der Position, ja, das ist ein bisschen awkward. Richtig? Die Sache, ich glaube eher, dass ein Gumayushi überleben würde, statt dem Kanal. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Ich bin mir sicher, sie gewinnen das. Ich bin mir so sicher, sie gewinnen das. Wenn die Lulu wie ein Mensch steht. Es ist Roll von Guma Delight. Ich sage, es ist 100% Roll von Delight. Und ich sage, es kann funktionieren, wenn du Gumayushi bist. Für das Play zu gehen ist einfach mega riskant. Ich weiß nicht. Also du kannst natürlich warten, bis du Flash-Up hast auf Gumayushi. Damit kann ich gehen. Aber ich bin mir sicher, dieser Play funktioniert, wenn Delight wie ein Mensch steht. Es geht einfach, ich glaube, Position ist halt schwierig, ne? Nachdem die da rausgechunkt wurden mit Zeus. Schon gesehen, dass Flycos den Roadtrip IRL-Stream macht. Digga, was ist das? Ja, auf jeden Fall erneut. Nachts Kroko-Boss-Stream, ich kann es euch nur ans Herz legen. 65 Wins, 64 Lose. Er muss da im Master schaffen, damit er in Korea Duke mit Freddy spielen kann. Und ich sag mal so, die Stimmung in diesen Games ist teilweise sehr essig. Sehr, sehr essig. Wo ist MSI dieses Jahr? In Korea. Hast du Visca Barca Story geschaut? Nein. Aber ich habe gesehen, dass sie geknallt sind. Wenn du kein Journalistenvisa hast, bist du geknallt. Mein Arbeitsvisum hat fast 10. Ach, der hat eins. Wow. Ich habe wenigstens Arbeitsvisum da. Wow, wow, wow. Also, boah. 10k, ja, aber du musst überlegen, was er mit dem Geld. Also, wenn er wirklich durchballert mit Vlogs, macht er halt das X-fache davon, right? LCK의 빅팬으로서 지난 결승전과 같은 성공적인 행사를 위해 ich glaube, er kann peaken. Er kann peaken mit, also in Master. Ich glaube, er kriegt es hin.
먼저 대전을 느끼는 게 중요했죠. 음식부터 여러 명소들까지 이 도시의 생명력, 활력을. 대전하면 또
Dann sind 10k nach 2 Tagen, ja, 2, 3 Vlogs. Was ist mit... Ich habe irgendwas gesehen mit Verbrennern, aber ich bin nicht so deep drin. Ich habe nur die Headline gelesen.
더 만전을 기하기 위해서 혹시 모를 여러 가지 상황.
Kurz für Leute, die nicht checken, was macht er wo. Er ist ein Fußball... Also er macht Fußball-Vlogs, Stadion-Vlogs.
그리고 이런 상상을 해봐.
Und ist in den USA. Also hier, so sieht sein Ding aus beispielsweise.
아니면
Ja, er ist halt... Also er ist halt der Stadion-Vlogger quasi.
그런 행복한 상황.
Right, ist bei allen Hype-Games und so weiter. Macht es auch echt gut. Also die Vlogs sind wirklich sehr gut gemacht.
그렇게 다녀와 보니까 알겠더라.
Ja, und die haben neue Regeln rausgebracht in den USA. Du darfst nur filmen, wenn du Journalistenvisum oder Arbeitsvisum, eins von beiden auf jeden Fall hast. Ja. Gibt nur 30 Influencer weltweit, die Stadionlage machen würden, dann knallt es halt dementsprechend rein, ja, ja. Also, ich glaube, wenn der wirklich aktiv filmt, das wird so knallen. Wie kriegen wir noch ein 5. Game? Drafts müssen besser werden. Ich glaube, Drafts sind IMO sehr, 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 sehr favored für Hanwha. Für Hanwha, sehr, sehr favored für Hanwha. Und ja, also das und Ding wurde gerade geragebaitet. Oh no. So, kurz Zähne putzen. Fühlen sich irgendwie ekelhaft an. Bis gleich. Bis gleich.
Hello, everyone. We are back as Hanwha Life Esports are on track to make it to Daejeon. They are up 2-1 over T1 after 3. And this time, yet again, it comes down to a very unique draft, y'all. Again, a multi-flex Shen. Where's it going to go? Who knows? It ends up going to the top side of the map. And it's Kog'Maw Lulu coming out for the bot lane, which was very surprising. But you wanted to start on the first 3 here, Jankos.
Absolutely. And I feel like, you know, this game, Jung is so important. And you first pick Lee Sin because you are confident that Kanavi can carry the game. And you know what he actually did? I think that first pick Lee Sin was very smart. Nafiri normally used as a counter pick to Lee Sin because you can't really Q her. But Lee Sin still has that early game tempo and early game skirmish power. Then even though I like the Renekton pick as a blind pick at this point, when you combine Renekton, Nafiri and Galio, you have this comp that is so early game centric that if you play into Cassiopeia late game, you just can't win. And what happened?
And I think for 4 or 5 picks I want to talk about is that I think HLE bot lane literally just outsmarted them, because the reason why T1 picked away the Milio is because you want to play with the Lucian and Yunara trade, right? I think you can just have both, but I think with Lulu you only have the Yunara, so it's like they just like try to play with them, but I think them answering with the Kog'Maw Lulu was just so smart, because I don't think Yunara Milio or Yunara, I mean the Milio Yunara cannot win against the Kog'Maw Lulu. So I think it was just so good counter draft by HLE here.
Yeah, I think it's been super interesting that a lot of the bot lanes here just are still available, right? I mean, Caitlyn is still on up. We had Lucian Millie go all the way through. We still had Ashe Seraphine that was still available because of what was picked.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to shout out to Zeus as well, right? Like, his playstyle, imagine there's a Renekton, maybe you can even pick Queen, but he picked actually Shen for the team, and they had a plan for, like, Lulu Kog'Maw on bottom, first pick Lee Sin, it pairs so well with this Shen actually just picking there, even though you are going to lose against Renekton.
Yeah, and he helped out with our first early game highlight here, because it was him moving first after all this early jungle pathing. I mean, this game, early game, was dictated by these two, and it started here.
I feel like Kanavi invade is really smart here because you kind of want to put a dent into one's early game comp, so you want to do something surprising. It was a little bit surprising to invade enemy cracks, get these cracks away, and then we see you know, a lot of back and forth where Owner is going to decide to chase Kanavi all the way to Raptors and play for invade.
So if you're a jungler, if you're an owner, I think you feel a lot about like, I think you need to punish Kanavi here because like you just got crocked by Kanavi here.
Absolutely, and look at these cracks. Where were we here last game? Literally last game with Nocturne Vian. You know, Honor does the same thing. This Q flash. I mean, I'm a big laser of Honor, but this is just too much. It's too deep. I think you get, even though you get outsmited or you get cracked, you don't get cracked, you just get out. You can't stay here when Zeus can move.
Yeah, I mean, while I was watching this, this is like Owner actually can carry this game because like he actually buying so much time for the team. He could just leave, play for leave, and it just exit, and it's just wasting so much time for mid and top especially. That helps so much for the team, but instead, he went for the play.
Yeah, I mean, it must have been something like, hey, top already moved, you're probably going to die. And he tries to get the kill there with the second Darkened Dagger, not able to land it, and moves on as it was early game and early aggression by Kanavi going yet again his way. And then the game continued to stall out a little bit until it's the old strategy. I've got a bunch of Europeans here. It's the old Fnatic Bush by Hanwha Life Esports. Also orange.
Yeah, we had Fnatic Brush, we had the G2 Brush, but here we call it Orange Brush. So literally, Zeus and Kanavi made them hero play here. I think right before this, by the way, T1 just won the team fight. So I thought T1 could just win the game, but I think HLE making those play was insane and huge.
Yeah, it was a huge comeback from T1, and it's like I think it was really well organized by HLE. Actually, the flow was like for T1. They had a great vision setup, they had a great plan, but I think this was the actually really play by HLE.
The reason why this pick work as well so well is because at that point they already had 3 dragons because of this insane play from Kanavi where he
Digga.
One. So T1 was really
Kann ich für einen anderen VIP-Con flippen? Hölle, nein. Es wurde gekündigt, ich wurde gekündigt.
we have to go fast, we have to face check.
Digga.
And then it led to yet again
Kann man so blöd sein?
those steals. You can see the way that
Wie kann man so blöd sein?
it just showed how easy he was able to steal this dragon as well.
Digga.
Can stop Kanavi.
Wie kann man so blöd sein?
Kanavi, he never chokes.
Look
I
at
mean,
that Q.
to be honest, Kanavi lost game 2 by himself. But I think he just carried the game 3 with the Lee Sin by himself.
That's true.
This is crazy. Like whenever you think about the mentality, whenever you think about the momentum, I think, you know, it's really hard to come back from that game 2, but I think Kanavi is the guy who
Hammer mehr, Bruder. Wie kriegt man das hin?
move forward and he again against T1.
I mean, he's actually like fearless, right? Like I think it's like no fear. Like let's say like, oh, I play bad. Like that fact doesn't stop me playing next game. I'm gonna play like, you know, chicken. He's gotta go.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything, right?
When you play stuff like Lee Sin, like Vi,
Ich wurde einfach gekündigt.
that's how the operates, and I think the fact that Kanavi is such an aggressive player that can really capitalize on these champions pulls HLE ahead.
Yeah, we are in the championship round.
So.
Something that you want to see from these
Es wird spannend.
picks.
So for T1, like I saw game 1, Owner getting caught without any reason and Faker tipped it and he died, right? And that was just game over. And game 3, it was a little the same. Like you didn't need to check the brush, right? I think you just walk through mid, get the mid priority into the jungle, so you get the vision clear, right?
Mongols sind 13-3 drüber gefahren, haben 2-0 gewonnen.
Mistakes by just individually, right? I think they should work more as a team. Work through the mid lane. Just play depends on the information that you have already.
Again, the winner is going to be punching their ticket in today. John, final thoughts here, Yanko.
Listen, T1 top side, lot of mistakes in these games. You can't get so behind. It is playable. You gotta step it up.
Yeah, I mean,
War auch besser sonst.
it's really stabilized, right? Like I think that one mistake, it cost the Nexus.
I'm hearing a lot of T1 copers here as the only Hanwha Life Esports predictor.
One more station!
That's pretty good. Let's see what happens here in game number 4. Will it be Hanwha Life Esports with a 3-1, or are we going to Silver Scrapes?
Thank you so much, Deskers, for that breakdown. Certainly a lot of mistakes. We've been highlighting it here on the caster desk as well. It just feels like has kind of warped the series one way or the other, as some risks being taken, you could say, especially by the side of T1, who are going to go for the first pick here. HLE most likely going to go for the blue side, and still going for first pick, even in Game 4 of Fearless.
Hanwha Life Esports have shown so much depth at the very end here of our lead up to MSI, right? In the last few weeks of round 2, now moving into Road to MSI, they're no longer just a Kanavi, Jarvan, dive between the turrets, play aggressively, no matter
So, Abfahrt.
the team. Sure, there have been some glimpses of that. There have been some moments in this series.
Wie machen wir's?
But they are definitely
Darf man jetzt noch 300 Zuschauer Game 5 wünschen? Nein.
on the cog.
Also du darfst, aber wir kriegen auch nicht eins.
Any Hanwha fan had on their bingo card before today, but they're really showcasing some depth. And when you get deeper into Fearless, so far their draft reads have been a lot stronger.
Aber nur deswegen muss er nicht arbeiten.
I feel like it's really going to be important that owner steps up.
So, wir lassen jetzt nicht vor Fun Bart offen, tatsächlich, falls ihr es noch nicht rausgefunden habt. Wir lassen jetzt nicht vor Fun Bart offen.
Typical level we see from him, so needs to be more consistent, not making these overextensions.
Danke.
And I would love to see Carrier have some more agency, because the game that they won was on the back of his
Nautilus.
and then we saw him on Milio in the follow-up.
Oh, die gehen für Azir, oder? Akaliban Azir?
Where he can have more proactivity. I think you're going to have a lot more success. Obviously, the Bard is going to remain permabanned against him. There's a lot of other picks we've seen him make phenomenal plays on, and that's often been the tool to unlocking T1.
Yeah, Aurora going to get banned this time around. No, not
Es ist auch ein bisschen noch Azir, ne?
Prio on that pick. Hanwha have found a ton of success with this Aurora pick throughout this year. And so many of these big jungle picks are gone, with the exception of the Xin, which we know is also kind of a flex pick right now, technically speaking, can be played in the top lane. Even the Lee Sin being gone here means that picks like Wukong are suddenly a little bit more relevant, which is, I think, in part why we see this Annie ban here by Hanwha Esports in the final spot.
I think maybe also we have
Was haben wir denn auch Mitte noch? Außer Azir.
I think a big takeaway from these bans is no top laners apart from, I mean, I guess the Varus.
Oh, eine Cassante. Ohren, Cassante weiter offen. Der Maler, ja. Talia Mitte. Talia Pantheon.
Slams down the Rumble. There's no Galio to answer it, which we have seen before. There's no Sion to answer it. There is
Ashe, Talia Pantheon können sie spielen. Ashe, Seraphine ist auch noch offen, ja, true.
Doran's Helm, of all things, working against him if it is going to be picked up in this game.
Jon offen. Oh. Wow.
Gonna come out here.
One Tour. Spielst gegen Talia vielleicht?
Either, you know, I think probably going to be played by someone.
His name starts.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Beerdigen jetzt.
Hey man, Yone bottom lane still could happen.
Aus Perma, wir wissen es besser.
Yorick would make that. I think we know which player it's going to be. Yeah, they actually lock this in, but the Cassante makes more sense. So we've got Soul Lanes on lock here. Now, I'm wondering about a Maokai pick. When you're playing Yone into Maokai,
Ja, eine Borke.
actually close the gap and get where you want to be. Maokai works well with the Rumble. And even though it hasn't been one of our premier jungle picks, I think deep in Fearless, there's definitely an angle, especially if Faker feels comfortable.
Ja, Schwein auf 3 ist möglich auf jeden Fall. Müssen aber nicht.
With this Yone. See what he wants to do, but this is an owner angle. Hey, it's gonna be
Pickt das hier rein.
We saw BDD pull this pick out late in.
Interessant, dass Caitlyn Lux Prior so niedrig ist. Also interessant, sehr interessant, dass Caitlyn Prior so niedrig ist, ja.
Pretty bold one. After the matchup, we've seen the Yone picked into the Azir, so Zeka definitely gonna be fine with that. But Faker wanted the mobility to potentially dodge away from the Unsealed Fate. I think they'll probably go for jungle pick here.
Skarner?
The Maokai. There's also things like the Skarner here, which can work well in tandem with the Rumble.
Bobby.
Poppy also does good into those dashes that both these have, but I think having a solid tank jungler.
Super free Maokai Game auch, oder nicht?
Well, but also for owner specifically could be a good pick to stabilize.
Yeah, and it certainly could still be a flex, the Poppy.
Momentan war hoffentlich.
Would be very fun, and we know Kanavi loves it. He's actually
Free Maokai Game, ja.
Part of the reason I mentioned the Maokai.
So, Caitlyn Lux raus.
Also paired with Yone.
Ja, mal wieder, also das ist wieder 0 Engage kommen, ne? Die können legit machen, was sie wollen hier auf Botlane. Und Sidon ist auch free. Also, Draft schon wieder favored für Hanwha, meiner Meinung nach. Double winning Sideline.
Yone's ultimate and his knockups really, really well. It's very difficult to play around that, so I thought maybe we'd see a denial from T1, something AD mid, but instead the shoe is on the other foot.
Anyone excited for Rocket Belt Maokai once again?
Yep. Something that could be a cause for concern is we often saw Delight playing as part of the combo the Maokai Blitzcrank.
Yeah.
So the potential to set up for that. I remember back in the day Gen G using that to great effect because it's the point and click CC and then just the rocket grab to follow up.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that when
you with Tolly, basically
carries that are so squishy, it is going to be very easy to, if someone is trying to set up that shuffle, for example, the Azir or the Rumble is trying to join a team fight, you can find yourself in trouble if you end up interacting with.
Ja, ich habe Steven gesagt, er soll Smoking Behind the Supermarket schauen, weil ich angefangen habe zu lesen. Er schickt mir Screen. Er schickt mir Screen um 1 Uhr morgens aus dem Bett, wie er es schaut. Und dann schickt er mir gerade einen Screen, wie er auf einmal auch angefangen hat zu lesen. Es ist so gut. Es ist so gut, wirklich. Grüß dich, Lukas. Heute bestätigt bekommen, dass ich zum Glück kein Blut kriegst. Bruder, was hast du gerade für eine Bombe gedroppt? Also Glückwunsch. Aber ich sag mal so, wäre es jetzt in die andere Richtung gegangen, ein Glück kam es nicht. Wie hätte ich da jetzt wieder reagiert? Danke für die 120er-Streak und Gott sei Dank hast du es nicht. Glückwunsch. Gerade eine Nuklearbombe im Chat gedroppt. Gott sei Dank hast du es nicht, ey. Junge, 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 Junge. Puh. Ash und Mel raus. Caitlyn raus. Haben wir noch Wade Carry offen? Was haben wir denn noch offen? Oh. Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it.
Something that we have seen a lot across the last few years of LCK. Not so much recently, but this is kind of, you know, HLE pulling back.
Lulu ist auch raus, das heißt, du kannst nicht Jinx Lulu gehen. Gehen die Aphelios?
This is going to work. We've got mastery of all these picks. Zeka's Yone is terrifying. Guma's Senna has been so consistent.
And you know, Senna has been a pick that in solo queue is just rampaging and doing so much work. Obviously, pro play is different, but the success is not something that's going to go unnoticed by the pros.
Speaking of throwbacks,
he's considering the Aphelios in this situation, but a mobile pick into this composition does feel pretty risky.
Gotta be Thresh, right? It's gotta be Thresh.
I think so too.
I mean,
or Nautilus.
I think Tom Kench is too risky here. I don't think it's safe into this composition. I think it's gonna really struggle.
Ja, sie gehen Aphelios.
Thresh is way safer, empowers the Azir.
Ja, du kannst da Nautilus reinpicken. Du kannst.
Carius looking on.
Yeah, he certainly enjoys
This is my
himself
pick.
Some Thresh. He was a big Thresh player when it was very meta. There's the Blitzcrank.
Ah, ich finde den Draft so viel geiler. Oldschool Maokai Blitzcrank. Ich finde den Draft so geil. Wieder. Also erneut Freund vom Hanwha Draft. Der ist nicht schlecht. Im Vakuum ist das kein schlechter Draft, aber ich finde die Antworten, die haben, so geil.
Blitzcrank pairing and it's into the Thresh. You can see Delight was waiting for this moment.
Yeah, it's one of the better drafts here for T1. I think they got a lot.
Haben wir genug Schaden? Ja, 100%. 100%.
Thresh with Aphelios was kind of his thing with Guma for a long time, especially back in 2021 when Aphelios was so strong that he was.
Finde die Antworten, die sie haben, sehr, sehr nice.
He was left available in. There's a lot of synergy that Keria has with this pick, but Pays hasn't played it with Keria that much because it's a more niche pick in longer fearless drafts like this. I like the draft. I think it scales well. It's got some good power picks in here. It's Faker on a zero.
Fast keine AP, oder?
But once again, it feels like Hanwha got the kind of right picks at the right end of this draft that are unusual, but like the Blitzcrank works well into the Thresh. They've got the
Wieder Wette mit Senna Stacks. Okay, Senna Stacks bei 20 Minuten. Wer am nächsten dran ist, bekommt einen Sub von mir. Nur Non-Subs. Ihr habt Zeit bis Minute 3 in-game. Actually bis Minute 2 in-game. Bis Minute 2 in-game. Wie viele Stacks wird Senna haben bei Minute 20? Nur Non-Subs.
And it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, and a lot more potential for HLE to make some of those snap engages again, and it's going to be up to Carrier with the Lantern, I think, to deny that from happening.
Well, we'll see exactly how it does play out. Does HLE win another early game? Let's find out in Game 4.
Ich will auch keiner kommt, ja. So, bis Minute 2 habt ihr Zeit noch.
All right, game number 4.
Merkt euch eure Zahl.
One game win away from making it into MSI with that first seed. And it is so juicy to just get out. You don't have to play in the play-in stage. You're the first seed. You don't have to play on Sunday. You get to take a longer rest. You get to say, I'm the best team in the LCK right now. You don't have to play up against potentially...
Ich glaube, Level 1 Hook ist losing für Hanwha.
Incredibly scary. Or KT.
I mean, if
always got to throw that in. You know,
if KT beats Genji, they could do anything, right? You never know.
Noch 40 Sekunden.
That sounds like something you would.
Ich nehme jeden Twitch Prime außer dem Mann. I'm just saying.
Interesting miss. I don't know how you missed that one.
You know what's weird is that all the center we've seen this season has been fleet footwork, but the by far dominant rune in solo queue has been Death by a Touch, and a big reason for her resurgence. So it's just interesting that all the pros have stuck to fleet footwork. Obviously, that bit of movement speed and sustain is nice, but in terms of the damage, the pressure that you can get from Deathfire Touch, just not leaning into that as of yet.
I think that the Deathfire Touch
Ruhiges Game ist gut für
always
Hanwha.
be better in an ideal world, but in pro games, having the ability to stay alive and having that extra movement speed is always going to feel safer. And so I think that's probably why we see that, especially here in the LCK.
I think if our LCK pros can find a way to get more safety in any manner, they will do it.
I think we're going to see Rocket Belt Senna this game.
On stage. Yeah, no.
Got Doran's,
really
got Doran's helm start, by the way.
We're definitely going to see at least one.
Got to keep your helmets on here at the LCK. Got to put your seatbelts on.
Yeah, Doran's helm for 80 carries also now just bleeding in just because of, again, how safe it is.
I think particularly on Senna, it's been very popular because you have so much sustain. And
Das ist nicht die One-Yon, oder? Ist nicht dieser Must Justice Yon? Bin ich am Trippen? Nee, hab ich noch nicht gespielt. Ich hab's nur bei Tolly gesehen. Xemo.
That same theory applying to the Milio, who's bolstering you. But the Doran's helm
Ist die One? Okay.
is pretty popular right now. And she's also very squishy as an 80 carry, even as far as 80 carries go.
Yep, habt recht.
So those base stats helping out quite a bit.
Yeah, and we also have Doran's helm for the Cassante, obviously. Has been...
Doran's on T1, why is he selling his helms to all of HLE?
He just needs... He's running a business, okay?
Well, he's got 2 rings on the other side and a bow, so it's fine.
Yeah.
And a shield on the
But why is he giving the new merch to HLE is my point.
He's selling a lot of merch, okay? He doesn't really care where it goes as long as there's money.
He's trying to offload it.
Okay?
He's like, helm is worthless. You got to get rid of these stocks. Although the buff is definitely making it, as you guys can see, a bit more of an appealing option.
Yeah. And, I mean,
Sondern mit Helm, du spielst auf diesen Losing, also das ist momentan quasi was du machst. Wenn du Losing Bottom Matchup hast, startest du mit Helm.
The minion wave is close enough, so.
Du kannst Rocket Belt bauen, du kannst aber auch Damage machen und Shadow Flame Second gehen.
I think the Deathfire Touch had timed out, and then he got CC'd under, but that could have been really bad.
Yeah.
So I think there's 2 lines of thinking with the Rumble into Cassante. You can go First Strike and just farm up gold, print money, and be strong later in that regard. Or you go for a more combat-heavy room.
Ja, kannst auf Kog'Maw gehen, wir haben das Game of Lucian gehabt zum Beispiel.
Yeah, he has got a bit of a lead so far, but you are kind of on a bit of a timer because once that Koenig Rukin comes in, so hard to do much.
Schön.
Here, now we got Kanavi making a play. Flash
Guter Play.
and Carrier will have to accept his fate.
First Blood an Guma.
First blood once again into
Schön.
the hands of HLE, and this time into the pockets of Gumayusi.
Komisch, also das ist der Gangtimer theoretisch, I guess, to respect ist in 36 Sets immer nicht so, aber ja, gut gepunished.
Eventually,
sehr gut gepunished.
Hook somebody and the Maokai shows up. You know, that combination, that pairing could be quite potent.
11 Stacks, Minute 4.
Any jungler, frankly, in this situation.
Yeah.
Ja, HLE spielt bisher besser, würde ich mitgehen. Ich denke erneut, Drafts sind schon, also meiner Meinung nach sind Drafts schon sehr favored für Hanwha heute auch, aber ja. Bringt seiner Kill mehr Seelen auf einmal? Nee, aber wenn jemand stirbt, droppt deine Seele quasi. Hallo Luke.
Doesn't have a whole lot of mobility. You get him into range, you're able to twist it advance a little bit easier. So it's a nice little combo regardless.
Ja, dieser Base ist halt auch sehr geil. Plus seiner Pickaxe plus die Steinschleuder. Sehr, sehr nicer Base.
T1 and Owner mostly just farming it up this game, hasn't found an opportunity. He's just going to take that dragon as here's the kill once again.
He's like, I'm just going to look for a hook. I won't say anything else.
Super.
Let's take the kill. Reaction.
Yeah, it was hard to hear. Nice that he moved in the brush just to drop vision, make it harder to dodge. Oh, Root comes in.
Oh, we got a Root. Ooh.
Ui.
Hook on cooldown. Okay.
Yeah.
Ui, wäre der Hook-Up gewesen, ja.
Playing so aggressive. We just came out of the replay.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man.
Holen wir das gleich in der Passerbox. Ich bestelle mit meiner Anwesenheit aus der 3. Reihe und öfter weiß ich nicht mal, dass ich bestellt habe, was?
You know? Owner, you're not playing the Fury this time, as that's going to be the knock-up. And we got the Maokai coming on.
Blitzcrank Maokai, aber ein bisschen anders gespielt. Zack hat noch Ulti, ja. Schlaganfall.
Kind of hand shook on a fight that they did not want to get into. This kill will go over to Faker's Azir on top of it all.
You can see it was a decision. They're both like, and then they ultimately give it over to Faker.
Do we emphasize the Maokai Blitzcrank combo?
Ich bekomme das, aber ich nicht bestellt habe. Oh.
An important extra factor. Damage.
Okay. Gonna get the flash here out of Faker.
Yeah.
Down soul.
Okay.
You need someone else there to actually kill the target when you do any Maokai Blitzcrank combos, which is something I think that Kanavi and Delight didn't factor in when they went for that play.
Well, I mean, it's obviously Poppy and Azir as well, and the Poppy passive makes it harder to even get those kills. It gets tougher to kill the lower health she gets, and you know, you watch this happen, and initially you're like, Owner, again, really? But he has a lot of backup here, and Keria is the one that sets up the Lantern while simultaneously
Ja, Zeka halt nicht im Pussy, ne?
Lantern out late. Keria gets the double.
Fühlt sich trotzdem ein bisschen komisch an, wenn die halt alles benutzen und dann erst die Maokai. Also, benutzt quasi komplett ein Blitzcrank-Combo und dann kommt erst die Maokai drauf. Bisschen komisch.
Zeka had his Q3 charged up and then used it on Faker to try and stop him getting the play, but then he had to rebind the soul and he just had no way of getting to the fight. And I feel like this was such a spur-of-the-moment decision. It wasn't communicated well. And if Zeka had been ready and in position to follow up, this could have gone completely differently.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a glimpse of old HLE potentially. You know, just pulling the trigger on any sort of fight when it looks like, you know, oh, they're in our jungle. Okay, we can go for a fight. But again, it's Poppy. You don't have the same backup that T1 had. And not everybody was on board. You know, this is something we've seen a lot in the past.
17 Seelen. 18. Der Senna geht sehr gut. Frage ist, die verlieren halt, wenn der Hook trifft, ne? Selbst wenn sie den Fresh hooken, verlieren sie. Ziemlich sicher. Oh, Poppy auf Bones. Respekten, oder? Oh wow, sie wollen outplayen. Stacken aufeinander für die Poppy-Ulti ist sehr gut. Oh, Gumesh ist tot, oder nicht? Oh, wow! Was? Was? Wie ist der nicht gestorben? Massiver Fumble, ja. Wie ist der nicht gestorben? Wait.
With how low Gumayushi was, it felt like a surefire thing, but a misstep.
Moment.
Slam him into the wall and Paze gets caught out. Once again, a dive attempt onto the weak side Gumayushi ends up backfiring.
Yeah, now he's got 2 kills, and the gold swings in that bottom lane back to his favor.
It was nice while it lasted.
Yeah, they weren't behind in an early game, and now they're pretty far behind. If your Senna has 2 kills, is sailing through the early game.
So, jetzt Moment, okay. Also ist gut, dass sie aufeinander stayen, by the way, mit der Poppy-Ulti, dass sie nur beide getroffen werden. So, jetzt, Moment. Flash und Cleanse raus. Wie stirbt er jetzt hier nicht? Wow, der Silence ist ja... Also der Silence ist sehr sexy, ne? Gibt auch keinen Flash für Gibt auch keinen Flash für Pace und so?
Yeah, I think he just died.
I called it that way because he took so much damage. I'm like, oh, he must have taken a turret shot, but actually he just got blown up by Blitzcrank.
Interesting. Silence hat hier komplett den Play gerettet. Schöne Ulti von Delight. Ja, fertiges Static knallt auch. War mal der Pace-Agro wegen seinem Turret? Fragezeichen? Oder hat er Agro? Hat er nicht? Okay.
So, you know what I was saying before, how
hat er nicht? Okay.
More damage, maybe Delight. Just needed his ultimate.
Target, yeah.
He just needed his ultimate. Oh yeah, better target.
Well, this is a game state that's problematic because of the scaling elements, not.
Das soll mit Static aussehen. Also mit Static proccst du auf jeden Fall den ersten Ding, ja. Das heißt, du kannst Static Auto-Attack auf die Wave plus plus Auto-Attack oder plus Q oder sowas prockt auf jeden Fall die Seele, ja. Oh, wow. Carry hat kein Flash, by the way. Regroupen. Oh, awkward. Guck mal, ich habe keine Sums. Oder? Zeka muss reinkommen, Ulti ist drauf, Faker, 1 HP, Gumayushi stirbt. Oh mein Gott, are we serious? Owner hat kein Flash. Winning für HLE, oder? Winning für HLE? Fragezeichen? Winning für HLE? Nein. Reicht. Reicht.
Well, ultimately, double dragon into Hextech Soul feels really good after some feeble attempts there on the bottom side.
Ja, kein Flash, keine Sums, er ist tot, oder?
Light. The light with the
Oh mein Gott, der Placement vom Tritt. Wow. Well played.
He says, take a seat, the light.
Well played. Ja, der Ocean Drake hat da Gummishi gekillt.
Flash as well for the play and
Filthy.
didn't get it. It just felt like in that passage of play, luck was on the side of T1 or maybe just a bit of magic, but they're able to pull off a successful team fight despite so many low health bars.
Boah, ich dachte, die committen hier aber auch hart in den Ding rein. In den Carrier oder nicht? Ah, vielleicht bin ich am Trippen. Und jetzt hier der Drake Slow, ekelhaft.
Low HP after getting grabbed in here.
Und dass der auf Faker hier auch überlebt so lange. Ist auch nasty.
He does eventually get taken down. Look how heavily Zeka has to commit to get
Ja.
He has to flash, so you can't actually rejoin the team fight. Goes for pace here, actually just kites it back. Owner incredibly low. This Poppy pick, insane. And then Carrier here is eventually killed, but they get the dragon in tow.
Watch
and
this.
then pace.
나 괜찮아.
He's like, I'm okay.
Wow.
Wow.
Sehr schön.
The whole time, he is just like, nope.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Yeah, he knew that the
uses
whole way.
the red gun for movement speed, then uses the white one to block. Just perfect situation.
Silent-Situation trotzdem sehr ekelhaft für Timon, glaube ich.
Aphelios. And
Borg fertig bei Yon. Borg plus Upgrade Boots, der ist so strong.
rarely ever see Aphelios into Blitz, but he's just got it on lock.
I mean,
Knows
he's-
all the interactions.
Back in the Gen G era, when Aphelios was still relevant, he was one of the best. Baker.
Nice hook.
Slow spielen, bitte.
That's a lot of damage. Owner gonna
Wow.
threaten that one, but
Wow.
underneath it,
Wunderschön gebuffert von Kanavi.
pretty good against
Lecker.
Kobe here on the mountain.
Und die haben 3 Grubbies.
We're getting to see all the
Lecker.
today, and that's a nice pick here on a Faker as Zeka's picking up some plates in top.
The counter Poppy play has been so good from HLE. They know all the interactions. They know exactly how to outplay what Owner is trying to use here.
33 Seelen, by the way. Also, Gumayushi, ja, der ist gerade gestorben, aber den geht's trotzdem sehr gut mit dem Game State gerade.
Pretty famous, so it does make a lot of sense.
Agreed. Well, that was a very successful setup as Baker backs away here. The minions pass through, gets hooked, and then watch this from Kanavi.
Lecker.
Straight through the ground. And Baker tries
Und den Kill auch noch an Zeka. Best-Case-Szenario hier.
He even tries to, he does actually try and sidestep it. He sees it coming, he's watching his character, but isn't able to in time.
Dritter Drake wird sehr wichtig.
Uh,
Summoners werden aber ab sein. Das heißt, wir werden die Maokai Blitzcrank Comp in Aktion sehen.
2 dragons to 0 is the Hextech Soul, so a lot of emphasis going to be put on these next 2 neutrals, I feel.
Wow.
Oh, that's going to be the flash used here by Faker, so he finds value out of it
So
eventually.
lecker. Graf, danke für den 20.
Problem. He's got it back now. No presence in top lane.
Yeah.
Zeka doesn't have TP though, so
And now
that.
doesn't have that summoner for that big dragon fight.
Yeah.
And the Herald as well in 40 seconds. If you get that, we've seen the value a Herald can have in setting up for an objective or that combat Herald coming through.
I think that's exactly where HLE have their setup here now. Maokai ult coming back online. They've got total topside control. You go Herald into Hextech Denial.
They might just kill you.
Yeah, they're kind of on vision. I mean, he saw delay backing there, and so Carry was making his way up, but still kind of playing with fire. I suppose Doran feels pretty fed at the moment.
Giving a little bit of extra space here for T1 to group for a contest. Or Hunt Life Esports right now. Zayas wants to get the Q3. No flash.
Little dash on in. That was pretty close.
And now Azir just going to head to the mid lane, it looks like. Picks up the blue buff, in fact. Instead, we'll back down to that lane. They both have teleport to join for that Herald fight. Where we're
Ich hoffe, ihr habt eure Seelen noch im Kopf.
open one way or another. If it's just given over to HLE, it takes all the double dragon momentum.
40 Souls, Minute 15.
T1 fight
Lecker.
lose. It might just be going to that series.
Und wir kriegen wieder einen Battle Herald für Hanwha. Die Position für den nächsten Drake sehr gut. Ich frage mich, ob T1 eventuell sogar geben sollte.
A lot of control on the map. The mid turret
Honestly.
are going to be threatening when they drop this if they want to use it for Prio. Only has 2 plates left, so it's not only Prio, but it's first turret as well that's on the table. So much game.
Er gibt die Cannon
In
auf.
just a matter of seconds after Faker's pushed out, lost his flash.
I feel like we've had a pretty chaotic early game. I mean, a lot of blitzcrank shenanigans, dives gone.
Ich sehe 5 Flashes ab, ich sehe kein Flash bei Faker.
And,
Wow.
stun
Schöner W.
with hitting
Für einen Instant Root, weil der Minion stirbt.
Lockdown pace. This is all very
Wow.
crucial. You were talking
Jetzt
about
schon
the
in-
timing.
okay.
You've got this dragon spawning. There's the Rift Heralds. And T1, they have a decision to make. I mean,
Wollen sie fighten?
gonna come in, but
I think they are likely going to lose this turret no matter what, but they could not fight for Prio.
It's so hard to fake.
Die werden fighten wollen, okay. Hook Mist, warum wirfst du den Hook so?
Hook is down. Already a bit of damage on the owner though, and he's just gonna get zoned away by all of the roots that
Oh,
come in.
wow, Owner, das 1 HP. Catch of Carrier. Lecker. Ja, also es sieht so schwierig aus. Und die Position hier ist so schwierig. Es ist nur eine Maokai-Comp. Ja, es ist am Ende des Tages nur eine Maokai-Comp.
Baker's just going to TP top.
Paradebeispiel, ne? Wie schwer es ist, halt reinzulaufen. Und das war noch mit einem Blitzcrank-Hook, der wirklich getrollt wurde. IMO.
When there's a Maokai on the other side, there's not an angle for Faker, especially without flash, to find a scoop. And they just got pushed out, and now they're going to lose this turret here. Mid-turret also forfeit as Faker's trying to trade one back, and Zeus is coming up to try to deny it. I don't think he's going to get this either.
I feel like HLE are playing so well around Zeka. You constantly see him pushing a side lane, and then Kanavi and Delight.
Hat die Papillon in seiner Ego, das habe ich nicht, nicht drauf geachtet. 50 Seelen. Sehr gut. Ja, die spielen heute wirklich echt. Also, man muss es sagen, Schlaganfall in Game 1, ja, aber die spielen ansonsten wirklich gut, finde ich. Ja, well-played, er ist auch noch tot. Vielleicht zaubern sie noch, aber Gamestate gerade ist sehr schlecht.
And I think this might be the beginning of the end of this game. As HLE push up to a 4,000 gold lead here at 18 minutes, and we get solo kills inside. The group ups in the bottom lane. The pressure.
Big Draft finde ich schon, ja. Ich finde heute Gambit technisch haben wir besser und auch Draft technisch deutlich besser.
It feels like he has made such a low impact in this game comparatively. Once we got past a certain
2 Items fertig bei Senna, plus 50 Seelen schon.
Tricked them right. He was able to out
Minute 18.
those early game skirmishes, but otherwise has not made the same impact that Kanavi has.
Erneut dieser Fight hier, der ist noch nicht mal so geil, weil die den Blitzcrank-Hook nicht haben.
Carrier, but where's the fault? There's nothing here. There's nothing in this. As the Yone gets knocked away, he doesn't care. And then here it's just a hook onto the Rumble that you said has to play safe, but maybe he should have equalized earlier. And Baker gets solo killed because moments before had to push Zeus out with his ult to peel for Zeus' last all-in, and now he's got nothing.
Da den Kill zu sehen. Krank. Da den Kill zu sehen, krank.
He gets on top, he can't even dash away.
Yeah, he needs to know that that is going to happen. But maybe the respect not being shown there. And, you know, you look at his counterpart in the mid lane, Zeka 4-0-1, nearly 3,000 gold ahead in 19 minutes. And, I mean, you know, it didn't even have to be Zeka, but Zeka's Yone insane. Zeus is as well. We don't get to see it very often nowadays, but this is the Yone team. Those banned a little look on the Kanavi.
Oh wow, die Senna W.
So, really not sure about that synergy, guys.
Hayes has IE, but this Cassante is just so tanky at this point, even with the Rooker and start, that he buys enough space.
Angle here. Oh.
There's just not, I don't think, a way for T1 to 5v5 with Faker also being this far behind for a while. Here comes the sieging ult. Faker has his flash.
Hat Splash, hat Ulti ab, tot. Nur eine ekelhafte, dreckige Maokai-Comp. Oh, schon gesehen. Wow.
Oh, what a read.
Wow.
Second time this series he's TP'd away.
Wow.
Insane.
Ist das gut?
HLE goes straight onto the Baron. Owner has to run there. Should be there in time, but it's going down quickly.
Oh, es waren 57 Seelen. 57 Seelen, wer hatte 57?
Now on this map.
I mean, they know this is happening, but the grab comes in and Carrier is down.
Ganz großes Kino. Ganz großes Kino. Ich hier?
Moving his way up towards the top side, but zero vision, and the root comes down. They wait for the root, and there's the smite. Is now even Yone goes over the wall. Zeka looking for
Okay, warte. Ich schau nach. Okay, schaut nach dem Game. Ich hatte, okay, sagt mir nach dem Game bitte. Lass nach dem Game kurz schauen, okay? Nach dem Game schauen wir nochmal drauf. Das muss ich alles verifieren.
This is a dominant game from HLE. Arguably the most dominant of all that we've seen, and they have won every early game in this best of 5 to decide who's going to be our first seed, and it starts to feel like there's no hope. It starts to feel like there's nothing left in this one for T1. As look at the vision setup they have here. They tell owner no. They've got the sapling as well, just for good measure. But then Gooba just hits him, and then it's okay. I'm killing you.
Ja, kompletter Stomp.
This is the Q3 as he feebly tries to run away, and then oh whatever.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
And after the start that Zeka had, you know, getting tricked by Faker, the solo death early on, he has bounced back at this.
Noch ist es nicht gewonnen. Es sieht sehr, sehr gut aus, aber es ist noch nicht gewonnen.
I think so often in these big matches, in these live arenas, in these best of fives, T1 are a team that you can't count out and they ramp up over the series. But HLE, it feels like they're the ones who gain.
Kann man einfach 80er Streak. Schönes Instant Cleanse.
Completely on top of this game.
Nächste Wave, Maokai Ulti mit Blitzcrank Cook.
For T1. And they're pushing in with a Maokai ult. T1 have to scatter away.
Yeah, and they're just
Frag mal Tolle nach seiner Stimmung.
at this point. I mean, 7,000 gold ahead. They're pushing mid, they're pushing bot. And
Einmal kurz ruhig sein.
Und die Goldmöglichkeit. Die wird nicht viel Gold entfalten. Und das ist Feld Bot-Turret, Mid-Turret. Faker nimmt den zweiten Turner unter Beschlag. Ja, so ein 3, den man sich mit Deathcap und Cryptboom kann viel machen.
Seelenwette waren 57 Souls.
Aber nicht viel davon.
Okay, viel zu professionell, langweilig. Nicht mal ein bisschen Essig. Zero, danke für die 125er Streak. Nicht mal Essig.
T1 have double dragon means that they can try to get, you know, 3 plates in exchange for dragon. It's never going to be equivalent. It's never going to feel great, but they just have to get to this late game Aphelios. Remember the late game phase Aphelios versus KT, 10,000 gold down. They were able to win. I don't think Hanwha is going to give those same opportunities over, but there is, if you're looking at this in the miracle sense, if you're a T1 fan who's believing like it's not over till it's over, there are some good things
7K.
right here, but it's
Also du hast halt, in der Theorie, es ist Drake-technisch, hast du ja noch Zeit. So.
With the composition of HLE, it's around these 2 carries.
Oh, wow.
So if Zeka or Gumi usually make a big misplay, you're down to 1 damage dealer, which makes it very hard to fight your way out from that position. So
Aber die können halt diese Choke-Fights nehmen, das ist schon geil.
major carries, it's not an easy task, definitely not.
Ja, ist schon geil.
But that's kind of the angle.
Wird T1 international spielen, also wird wahrscheinlich auf T1 Genji Best of 5 hinauslaufen. Wenn hier nicht Magie passiert in dem Game. Schauen wir mal.
This tower is going to be gone because Kanavi can just ult.
Yep, just gonna throw an ult down and immediately.
Oh, trifft, oder? Trifft sie noch? Nee.
Sitting here for T1, they just get away and they say no thank you.
Yeah, against this composition, but particularly when you're this far behind, there's no tank. Owner just isn't bulky enough to survive anything that HLE throw at him, so there's no one who can just be in their way and absorb the Maokai ults because they will just die to the follow-up.
Saw what happened last time with him against Zeka.
Auch noch die Cherry on top. Dass der Basic cancelled wurde, nicht gecancelt wurde.
For a kill on a Zeus, I mean, he's incredibly strong at this point in time. I think 1v3 is too much to ask for, so a little bit of a shutdown. Dorn actually gets a lead himself, but again, it feels like another little crumb that HLE are leaving for them.
Yeah, but I mean, sometimes you
Es ist ein Empty Kill, aber Brainlag oder?
I was gonna say like a roll, but
70 Seelen. Lecker.
How many crumbs do you need to make a cake? Probably a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
start with like a piece of cake.
That's how many
more realistic.
Yeah, just a little small triangle. Or maybe like a small pizza crust. HLE do end up losing Zeus here as they were trying to set a trap, and then this equalizer doesn't get the interrupt, but Zeus is then isolated. They're like, okay, well, he's not here. They even committed Faker's TP because they're like, we need to get something. We absolutely must get something here, and they do.
And as much as this game does feel to be in a very dire spot, we've seen this series has consisted of moments where HLE have overstepped and been punished. So T1, they're fishing for those opportunities, trying to see who's recalling late, who's overextending, who's out of position. Punish.
Oh, speaking of which, right into the Azir Poppy combo. And guess who's here?
Oh, wow.
It's Doran. Zeus is going to try to flash away to get out of this one, but one harpoon gets the job done. And not even a Senna ult.
I mean, das sind gute Plays von T1. Gebe ich ihn.
At the same time,
Sind gute Plays.
Hayes is double farming. He's farming top lane.
Und wir sehen 304, also wow.
He's getting double farm for the
Wartet mal, also E-Seele 15 auf Aurelios, 320 CS. Alarm. Maybe Alarm. Bisschen Baron abgeben, auf keinen Fall. Holst du wieder ab bis dahin?
And the top side catch last time, that was a little bit of a desync there from HLE.
Alarm? Vielleicht? QSS bei Zeka? Ich meine, Aphelios wird outranged richtig von Senna, aber gefährlich ist es trotzdem.
The gold lead is still 6.5k. It's still massive here for HLE.
Massive.
Small win cons are growing a little bit here now for T1.
Yeah, they have really sacrificed Faker's farm quite heavily to elevate Pays. But he's
Warum kein LDA? Ich weiß nicht, warum der LDA allergisch ist. Ich meine, in dem Game kann ich es noch irgendwo sehen.
fasting center who's
Aber die letzten Games auch.
in gold. It's weird to see this, but Pays being strong is such an important factor in this game. Na'Vi and Delight fishing. These two have been
Was kauft der?
together at the hip throughout this game.
Doppel-Longsword?
Now setting up for the Baron. This is so scary to approach with the sap.
Was kauft man mit Doppel-Longsword?
Look at that.
Jay ist es nicht. BT ist es nicht. Oh. Okay. Schön, Mann. Richtig schön. Shieldbau ist Nee, Shieldbau ist Collector. Okay. Bitte. Hexoptics. Ist Hexoptics 2 Ding? Okay.
Owner's the tankiest. He eats a bit of CC and then he's just dead.
And you can't, I mean, you can, but you don't want to give up the
Warte, was ist Hexoptics dann? Ist das hier das 1-3-Item plus Crit Cloak plus ein Longshot noch, oder was?
If you're right on the timing or someone's out of position, maybe you could get something.
Ah, schöner Catch.
Instead, you give a pick and you give the Baron. As you can see, the Lantern attempt here is denied.
Oh my god!
Pickaxe, Nunclear Longshot. Ah, what the fuck? Es hat immer Crit drin. Ja, schöner Catch. Interesting.
And Faker's gone.
He's got a QSS.
Ach, das 1-3-Item hat Crit. Oh, Entschuldigung. Ja, sorry, ihr habt komplett recht. Ja. Sorry. Ja, ihr habt komplett recht. Was? Nein! Mit Lantern, der Idiot. Achtung. Achtung, der Aphelios. Aphelios ist scary. Aphelios ist immer noch scary. Marco, die kommt rein. Carrier tot. Slow spielen müssen sie. Kanavi ist tot, oder? Also Senna ist halt range-technisch sehr balanced. 90 Range, by the way. 90 sehen, meine ich. Uiuiui.
They have Baron. They have Prio for this Dragon, but they don't have a jungler. But for T1 to get there in time to challenge is going to be very difficult.
Ja, gut gewartet mit Q3, ne?
I think I can do this.
Saves the little Krug.
Holy fuck. Jesus. Damn.
I mean, Zeka on this champion is just something to behold. Now, Ona's looking for an angle, so they're going to have to
Kein Jungler. Oh, warte mal, der Drake ist weg.
Skates, I think, is part of why T1 is able to get here so fast.
Zeka didn't do that much damage, but
now, I don't
might as well try.
That Dragon pickup suddenly puts
Rapid Fire fertig.
to win this game, but they've managed to deny another Dragon from HLE, keep them further away from the Hextech Soul, and at least keep their hopes a little bit more present in this game.
So initially this looks like maybe HLE can end the game, right? They go in, they get this interrupt here on the Lantern. It almost looks like predicted by Delight, by the way. But Doran actually is able to go into state.
Sehr deep, ne? Also die müssen aufpassen, weil dieser Aphelios ist ein Problem. Also der ist auf jeden Fall ein Problem. Da müssen sie aufpassen.
Doran is so big, he's got Paze's damage to follow up. And so with all this disjointedness and Faker's respawn, that's the end of the push. Otherwise could have been a win right then, right there. They're still in a commanding lead. They still have Baron for 20 more seconds, but...
Wenn einen Kill bekommt mit Hexoptics Proc, maybe problematisch. Ja, sie siegen. Siege ist decent. Ja, passt. Oh mein Gott. Wow, muss... Die hätte getroffen? Ja, sehr close. Vielleicht letzter Tick. Jetzt kein Flash, problematisch.
Yeah, just gonna take it down. Looks like they're kind of moving towards mid, but
95 Seelen.
be careful not to overheat. Just gonna poke from a distance.
Holy moly. Bei 110 hat er 100% Crit.
Rapid fire there for Gumayushi, almost 100 stacks. It's so hard with triple and hips down. The game is just on a timer.
Die müssen hart engagen.
Someone's gonna get grabbed sooner or later.
Das heißt, jetzt muss Azir engage kommen? Fragezeichen. Holy fuck. Oh mein Gott. Oh mein Gott.
He is still an 80 carry, 30 minutes into the game. So at least they...
Ohne Crit zu kaufen. Er hat doch 2 Crit-Items.
But man, HLE are...
Hexoptics und Rapid Fire.
Very respectfully.
Pretty dangerous.
Holy.
Didn't have equalizer up. I think it's the only thing that saved HLE from...
110, 100 Range, 50 Crit, genau. Also 100% Crit. Also jetzt overcapped er ein bisschen, aber jetzt gibt er Livestream gleich. Aber jetzt hat er es doch nicht. Jetzt hat er 100% Crit. Und dann ab 100 Seelen hatte dann eben Lifesteal dazu noch. AI auf seiner schlecht, also kauft er jetzt. An der anderen Items finde ich alle valid. Hex Optics gegen Rapid Fire, also Hex Optics plus Rapid Fire gegen Rapid Fire into AI, kannst du argumentieren. Ja, 100 Stacks voll. 3 ist bei Azir. Digga, guck mal, Yoshi, du musst aufhören, solche Schlaganfälle zu haben. Frage ist, brauchen sie ja Nash? Unironically. Nevermind. Nevermind, oder? Kein Flash auf Pace. Wir müssen nur langsam spielen. Carrier tot. Okay. Wow. Guck mal, Yoshi hat Flash ab. Faker muss rein eigentlich, ne? Wow, er flasht nach vorne. GG. Deklassiert heute. Okay. Okay, GG's. Sehr gut. Sehr gut, sehr gut, sehr gut. Wichtig. So. So, kurzes Best of 7 gewonnen, ja.
A statement series redemption for what happened last